Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Sunday, August 10th, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ORION NWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the Tampa Bay Rays versus the Seattle Mariners. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 5 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. Happy Sunday, everyone. And on the thumb on the left is Tampa Bay Rays stud Josh Lowe. And on the right, our center fielder superstar, J-Rod Julio Rodriguez. 2 homers last night by Julio, 1 by Cal, and we're trying to go for the sweep. Now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting Tampa Bay Rays. Leading off for the Rays in left field, Chandler Simpson. Batting second, playing first base, Yandy Diaz. Batting third, playing second base this afternoon, Brandon Lowe. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, third baseman, Junior Caminero. Batting fifth, DHing for Tampa Bay, Josh Lowe. Batting sixth, catching today for the Rays, Hunter Fiducia. Batting seventh, playing shortstop, Ha Seung Kim. Batting eighth, playing right field, Jake Mangum. And batting ninth, playing center field, Tristan Peters. And on the mound with a 6-3 record, an ERA of 2.54, Adrian Hauser. And now let's get into the starting lineups for your Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners in left field, Randy Arozarena. Batting second, DHing today for Seattle, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting third, playing center field, Julio Rodriguez. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, first baseman, Josh Naylor. Batting fifth, playing third base, good vibes only, Eugenio Suarez. Batting sixth, playing second base, Jorge Polanco. Batting seventh, catching today for the Mariners, Mitch Garver. Batting eighth, playing right field, it's Dominic Canzone. And batting ninth with ice water in his veins, shortstop, J.P. Crawford. And on the mound for the Mariners, our all-star in 2025, 9-6 record with an ERA of 3.02. It is Bryan Woo. And hopefully we get 6 solid innings out of Bryan Woo. We're going for the sweep. 6-game win streak, trying to go for 7. Things are starting to line up perfectly. We're only a half game back to the Astros. Hopefully we win, they lose today, and then we can find ourselves, at some point, if it's not today, very, very shortly at the top of the AL West. And that's pretty exciting. It's been a minute since we've been on top. When we had that 9 consecutive series win streak at the beginning of the year, we were on cloud 9, averaging about 6 runs a game for a month and a half. And then we had a harsh reality, a slap in the face. And, when you go from averaging 6 runs a game for, about a month and a half, and then you go down for about a month and a half, averaging 1 to 3, it's a big difference. And again, we've had to scratch, we've had to claw, we've had to grab guys like Naylor and Gino at the deadline. Guys are getting healthy at the right time. Bryce Miller and Victor Robles are getting closer to being healthy. And I can't wait to be able to see a fully healthy Seattle Mariner team make a big playoff push. We've already won the series. We already won the first 2 games. And so obviously we're looking for the sweep. Tridents up. Let's go M's. All day in the building. What's good? No worries, brother. I figured that you were busy in these last couple days, and I hope that you had some good family time, which is always coming first. And Captain ended up coming through yesterday, so we were able to have at least one of the 2 of you in the building, and then I ended up going solo on Friday, but we still ended up hitting pretty good numbers with the likes and the subs and the views and the donos. So obviously being down 2-0 until the 8th inning, and then we got singles, obviously by J.P. Crawford and Cole Young, and then that big 3-run bomb late by big dumper Cal Raleigh. And again, we definitely have seen Cal start to kind of turn the page. And again, back-to-back homers and back-to-back games. Julio had 2 last night. And again, we're really starting to show the talent that we can have if we can put it all together. And again, hopefully we can get the dub here today. Mariners have a day off tomorrow, and then we go on a big road trip. And again, it's not going to be easy going on the road. There's only really one legit team, on the road all year, and that's the Milwaukee Brewers. They're 10 games above 500, and they're really the only one that is dominant on the road, and they have the best record in baseball because of it. And a lot of other teams, even they may have, 5, 10 games, 15, 20 games above 500. Most of those wins are at home, even for teams that have a better record than us. Most teams right now, have a 500 record on the road, below 500 record on the road by a game or 2. Or quite a few games. It's pretty rare to have a lot of games above 500, and even some of the great teams are only a couple, above 500 on the road. So hopefully we can find a way to get on a nice win streak and have some Uncle Mo on the road. Otherwise, the Astros are going to continue to be in first place if we can't change our ways. Definitely excited about the game here today, and hopefully Brian Wu will layeth the smacketh down on the Tampa Bay Rays. Let's go, baby.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can it keep me warm when I'm cold?
Wait, no, I'm always hot.
Sleep Number does that.
Can I make my side softer?
All right, here we go, baby. First pitch for Brian Wu to Chandler Simpson. Takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. And we're going to be shooting for 100 likes and 100 on the Dono train. 0-1 pitch, fouls it off, high and away. No balls and 2 strikes from Wu to Simpson. 0-2 pitch, high and inside, four-seam fastball, missing the strike zone by inches. 94 miles an hour there by Brian Wu. No balls and 2 strikes from Wu to Simpson. Top of the first inning, 0-0 here early between the Rays and the Mariners. Absolutely. 0-2 pitch, in play, and flied out to left, and that is 1 away. Down goes Chandler Simpson. Next up, in the 2-hole, first baseman Yandy Diaz. We got a heat wave here in the Pacific Northwest. 100-degree temperatures for like the next 3 days. So obviously the AC has been on early since 6 a.m. And I got 2 good walks in with Paisley before it got hot. One at like 6 a.m., one at 9 a.m. So we're going to definitely try to stay comfortable, obviously, with these next few days once this heat wave is over. And then obviously late tonight, I'm hoping to go on a victory walk, maybe around 10 p.m. with the pup after a Mariners sweep and victory. First pitch from Wu to Diaz, low and away, four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour by Brian Wu, 1-0 count. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 20 likes within the first hour, 50 at that halfway point, but we're shooting for 100 likes and 100 on the Dono train. And as of late, we've been able to hit 125, 150, 175, and even 200 and 200 plus. So we're definitely going in the right direction, and it feels good to be able to gain those subs as well. 1-0 pitch in play, and Diaz with a nice single to first. I see you, Yandy. And hopefully we don't give up a home run here to Brandon Lowe, who's homered in game 1 and game 2. Because if he does, we're going to be down 2-0 early. And we've been down 1-0 early in both games. But again, we ended up getting a nice response early in the matchup yesterday by Julio Rodriguez. And when he ended up getting that 2-run blast, it gave us a 2-1 lead in the first. I'm not sure how the home runs are going to play out here today, but we had quite a few of them in the first couple games. At the end of the day, we just need Wu to be the good version of Brian Wu. He's been a little shaky the last few starts, and hopefully we can limit his damage to 3 runs or less. We don't really know who's going to be coming into the bullpen, but whether that be Brash, Pizzardo, Spire, and then Mooney, hopefully we can get the job done. And if we end up bringing in Vargas or some of the other guys that aren't really as good, hopefully they can end up being solid, which Vargas was a few days ago. First pitch from Wu to Lowe, fouls it off right down the middle, 0-1 count. Lowe in the box, and Brian Wu on the mound. 0-1 pitch in play. And Lowe grounds out to the fielder's choice. Diaz is out at second, 2 away. And it's kind of refreshing not to see Brandon Lowe hit a home run in the first inning in back-to-back games. Game number 3, he doesn't do it. But that doesn't mean he won't do it later in the matchup. He's got a good eye for the Mariner pitchers so far this year. Next up, the best player on the team, cleanup hitter, third baseman, home run derby runner-up, Junior Caminero. And we're only a half game back to the Stros. They're 65-52. We're 65-53. And wild card is Red Sox, Mariners, Yankees. And the Yankees are sliding a little bit. Guardians are starting to win games, and they're 6 games above 500 after being below 500 pretty much for the whole year. You know, Tigers really were the only team in that division that had an above 500 record until as of late. And again, I wouldn't be crazy to think if the Guardians go on a little bit of a push. But again, we want to make sure that we win the division. And if not, we definitely want to be one of those wild card teams. And we're definitely slated for that. First pitch to Caminero. Takes a strike looking low and at the knees. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Fouled it off high and away. No balls and 2 strikes from Wu to Caminero. 0-2 pitch. Fouled off high and away. No balls and 2 strikes from Wu to Caminero. Top of the first inning with a runner at first, Yandy Diaz with 2 outs. Calvin in the building. What's good? Appreciate that. You know, somebody's got to represent for the Seattle Mariners. And again, you know, there may be a few people in the past that have tried to occasionally, get the job done, but you're not going to find anybody that grinds it out game in and game out like the NWSF. And that's not something that's just going to be, temporary. We've been doing it for quite a few years. And obviously now the Mariners are finally getting the exposure that they deserve with Cal and the Seattle Mariners in 2025. 0-2 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Wu to Caminero. And I appreciate you very, very much. Yeah, I mean, my goal, going into every season is to do 155 out of the 162 games. And then if they make the playoffs, to do those games as well. And the only reason that I would miss 1 game a month, if there's a WWE PLE that's worth doing, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, that will be the only reason that we end up skipping a Mariner stream if they end up crossing paths or being on around the same time. And that is out number 3. There we go, baby. Let's go here to the Seattle Mariners in the bottom of the first inning. Good job by Wu here early, not giving up any home runs. And Lowe has been really hot as of late. So good to be able to see Wu being able to command, and show that authority on the mound. There to Junior Caminero, a big swing and a miss for strike 3. And we love that. Nice job by Brian Wu. Way to get that electricity started. I like it. 0-0 here early. Nice job by Brian. Now let's see who's up next here for the Seattle Mariners in the bottom of the first inning. Leading off for the Mariners in left field, playing against his former team. He's getting a lot of singles in the first 2 games, but not any home runs yet. Could this be the day that we get a Randy Arozarena home run against his former team? And if not, hopefully a double here or there, Randy Arozarena. Batting second, DHing today for Seattle, the best catcher in baseball, big dumper Cal Raleigh. Only a few homers away from breaking the record from Salvador Perez, which is 48, and he's only one behind second place, Johnny Bench, at 45. Could he tie Johnny Bench or surpass him today? We hope so. Big Dumper, Trident's up. And batting third with a 2-home run game last night, and has been one of the hottest hitters in the last month. He's got the most home runs out of any player within that stretch, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. And again, a lot of Mariner fans and a lot of non-Mariner fans definitely get on Julio at the beginning of the year, deservedly so, because we expect a lot from a guy, living up to the potential of being Ken Griffey Jr. 2.0. And at least we have Cal kind of being the face of the franchise. But again, people don't realize Julio is the only player to have 20 home runs and 20 stolen bags in the first 4 seasons of a career. And again, we know that he's got the talent to go 30-30 and possibly 40-40 one day. And again, we just need him to get hotter in the beginning of the season rather than just being a 300 hitter after the All-Star break, which he has been able to do every single year as a rookie. And to this point in 2025. So again, if he could just find a way to get a little bit more rhythm in the first few months of the season, then we can actually put together a full quality season. And then at some point we may see a 30-30, 35-35, or 40-40 year. First pitch from Hauser to Randy, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle by Randy Arozarena. No balls and 2 strikes from Hauser to Randy. And they picked up Hauser there at the deadline, 6-3 record, 2.54 ERA. So this could be a pitching duel. 0-2 pitch, high and inside with the sinker, 95 miles an hour by Hauser. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. Let's go, Randy. We need that electricity right out of the gates, and we're still waiting for that first home run against your former team in this series. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Time is called. Mike in the building. What's good? And they're challenging right now. To see if Randy actually got hit by the ball or not there, I guess. No spamming in the chat. Bottom of the first, 0-0. And we got a 1-2 count. And obviously they were trying to review to see if this one actually hit Randy in the wrist or in the forearm. It's close. It looks like it kind of hits him, but they decide to keep continuing with the at-bat, even though it does look like it did potentially nick him a little bit. I mean, Randy obviously isn't going to overreact, so. And let's see if they overturn the call. And they do. They overturn the call. Good, because, again, it does hit him. But, again, we've seen, certain plays where we've gotten a little bit ripped off, where we had it hit the knob. And, obviously, they said that he got hit by the pitch. And, next batter, they end up getting a big RBI or home run. So, we've had calls go against us. And Randy is, the most hit Mariner, since we don't have Ty France on the team anymore. And he's not going to overreact. He'll take the punishment. But again, I'm glad they got the call correct there. Randy to first. Next up is Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh. First pitch to Cal, high and away, 1-0 count. Cal sitting at 44 home runs, 1 more to get to 45 to Johnny Bench, who is number 2 all-time to Salvador Perez with the record with 48. 1-0 pitch, high and away, 2 balls and no strikes from Hauser to Big Dumper. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike swinging low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to Cal Raleigh. that was a very long review process there. But at least they got it right. Two-one pitch, high and inside. 3 balls and 1 strike from Hauser to Raleigh. Three-one pitch, back, see ya! And there it is, big dumper, homers again, and that hot streak stays alive, baby. 2-0 Mariners, see ya! And again, you know, when Cal can get hot, you know, again, it took him a little while to be able to find that rhythm and then to be able to homer in 3 consecutive games. That's exactly what we want to be able to see. And that is home run number 45, tying Johnny Bench for second all time. Unbelievable. Trident's up. What a stud. The best catcher in baseball. 2-0 Mariners. Let's go. Unbelievable. Let's go, baby. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. And again, when you get Cal and Julio homering, you know, in the same game, we're almost unbeatable. First pitch to Julio. Doesn't get a home run, but does get a single off the first pitch to left field, and we are in business. Next up is Josh Naylor. Let's go. First pitch from Hauser to Naylor. High and away with a curveball. 1-0 count. Beautiful line drive by Cal Raleigh, man. This is such a beautiful thing to watch. You know, and again, it's such a different vibe when you have an elite catcher. It really does make everything come together with the squad. 1-0 pitch. Low and at the knees with the changeup by Hauser. 2 balls and no strikes to Josh Naylor. Two-0 pitch, high and away. 3 balls and no strikes from Hauser to Naylor. Three-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 3 balls and 1 strike from Hauser to Naylor. Let's go, baby. Salvador Perez with 48 home runs in 2021. Cal with 45 here today. And Johnny Bench with 45 in 1970. Unfucking believable, man. Three-one pitch, fouled off, low and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Josh Naylor. Let's go. Just got to go on socials and be able to support on there as well. 3-2 pitch, fouled off. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Hauser to Naylor. Got to go through the Facebook, through the Seattle Mariners, the Instagram through the Seattle Mariners, Mariners PR on Twitter/X, as well as the Seattle Mariners official account on X as well. So that's usually a daily routine that I typically wait till the end of the game, to kind of go through and like and retweet or, share the posts and whatnot. But when you end up having history being made in front of your very eyes, sometimes you don't want to wait. And you want to make sure you put it on your socials as well. Big dumper with home run number 45, tying Johnny Bench, and he's not done. He will break the record of Salvador Perez. The real question is, how many homers is he going to break the record by? Will he get to 60? Will he get to 58 and get 10 more than Perez? We don't really know. But again, we know he is starting to heat up with homers in 3 consecutive games. I love it. And Naylor with a walk. Now we got runners at first and second with no outs with a 2-0 lead. And, we've already won the series. We're going for the sweep, and we're definitely imposing our will here against the Tampa Bay Rays. They don't know what to do. Next up is Eugenio Suarez. Let's go, Gino. Good vibes only. Bottom of the first inning, 2-0 Mariner lead. Let's go, Gino. Bottom of the first inning. And kind of nice, that we ended up taking the lead early because, again, Brandon Lowe has homered in the first inning in both games where we were down initially 1-0 and obviously 2-0 with a Junior Caminero home run in game number 1. And then we had to wait for JP and Cole Young to get singles in the 8th. Cal Raleigh got a 3-run blast in game number 1 and won the game for us 3-2, which was huge. And then yesterday, Lowe hits another home run in the first, but then Julio responded with a 2-run homer back, and then had 2 home runs yesterday, J-Rod, and then Cal had another yesterday, found a way to win that game, and then now Cal homering in his 3rd consecutive game, tying Johnny Bench for number 2 all-time with 45 home runs, and we still got, almost 50 games to go. Pretty exciting to see where Cal will fall. First pitch to Gino is outside, 1-0 count. And Naylor gets to second with a balk. Rodriguez to third. Wow. Everything not looking very good here for the Tampa Bay Rays, especially if they're getting balks and, their pitcher is having a meltdown already at this point, but we'll take it. Roy Campanella, Todd Hundley, Cal Raleigh, Javi Lopez, Johnny Bench, and Salvador Perez. And obviously now is in second, and who knows? He might end up, being in second by himself if he gets another home run here today, which wouldn't really surprise me. 1-0 pitch, fouls it off right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike from Hauser to Gino. We got runners at second and third with no outs. I mean, essentially we could put up 3, 4, 5 runs here in the first inning, and you don't want to say, oh, the game is over already in the first, but again, if we're going to come out like this and throw up a 3, a 4, or a 5 before this inning ends, it's going to be pretty tough for the Rays to come back unless we end up having a minor meltdown by Wu and a major meltdown by like Vargas in the pen, but I don't really see that happening here today. Oh, yeah. Rays announcers, pretty much any announcer that's the away team that goes against Seattle when we are playing well is pretty much dead inside. 1-1 pitch, and here's Gino with a big single to left, bringing in both runners home from second and third. And just like that, just like I mentioned, we go from 2-0 to 4-0 in a heartbeat. Next up is Jorge Polanco. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Good vibes only, baby. Nice job by Eugenio Suarez. Big RBI single, bringing in 2. Next up, a guy that definitely needs to start heating up, Jorge Polanco. First pitch, takes a strike looking high and away, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, high and away, no balls and 2 strikes from Hauser to Polo. And Hauser's not a terrible pitcher. They got him from the White Sox at the deadline, 6-3 record, 2.54 ERA. So it shows you, even with pitchers with great records and great ERA, the Mariners are still finding ways to do damage early and often. And again, we're going to need it if we want to overtake the Astros, obviously, in this AL West. 1-2 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Hauser to Polo. And Hauser having a nightmare here in the first inning. And if it keeps going like this, we might see Hauser exit, by the 4th inning, maybe even sooner, depending on how many more runs he gives up. 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss, and that is strike 3 on Polo for our very first out here in the first inning. We'll take that. Our first out doesn't even come into the sixth batter. Yeah, I'll take that all day and all night. Next up is catcher in the 7-hole, Mitch Garver. First pitch to Garver from Hauser, fouls it off right down the middle, 0-1 count. Bottom of the first inning, Mariners already up 4-0, baby. Trident's up, let's go Hounds. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. You haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes and 100 on the dono train. And we've been gaining about 5 to 15 subs on the regular, but lately it's been 20 to 50 per stream, and hopefully we'll be able to get that as well. And Gino gets caught stealing second. Uh-oh. And again, we got to make sure we're keeping, the runners on base. And we've had a few blunders, not necessarily by guys like Josh Naylor lately, but again, at least something going for the Tampa Bay Rays here. 2 away. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike looking down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes from Hauser to Garver. 0-2 pitch, low and away with the slider, 88 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Hauser on the mound, Garver in the box. And it's not often that we get guys making mistakes, mental errors on the bags. Sometimes it ends up just being a great throw, by the catcher, or whoever is trying to be able to get that particular runner out. But, hopefully we don't see any more of that. We saw a blunder by Randy in game 1 with, ended up being a double play when he was going for a hit and run early in the matchup and slid head first in his second, but it was a pop-up out in foul territory by first. And by the time he realized, there was no chance of him getting back to first safe. 2-2 pitch, high and inside. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Mitch Garver. Bottom of the first inning, 4-0 Mariner lead. And again, when Cal Raleigh can make history early, we're going to take advantage. And again, we're a team that can rally with the best of them. And it's not often that we're going to start off a first inning with 4 runs, but I absolutely love it. 3-2 pitch, and look at Garver baiting Hauser and getting a walk. Nice job by Garv. And obviously, Gino sliding feet first ain't going to get you, safe to second after they just flip that replay again. Next up, in the 8-hole, right fielder, Dominic Canzone. Let's see if we can keep the rally going with 2 outs. And again, we have been a very good team with 2 outs and a very good team in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. But with a 4-0 lead here early in the first inning, we're feeling pretty damn good on how things are shaking out. Cal Raleigh homered to right in his 3rd consecutive game, 376 feet. Arozarena was on board, 2-0 Mariners. And then Gino singled to left. Julio and Josh Naylor scored. And that's how we're sitting at a 4-0 lead here in the first inning. First pitch from Hauser to Canzone, low and away with a curveball, 1-0 count. Let's go, Dom. Bring that electricity, baby. One 0 pitch. Takes a strike swinging high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Hauser to Canzone. 1-1 pitch. High and away with the changeup, 83 miles an hour. 2 balls and 1 strike from Hauser to Canzone. Kevin's getting the dono traded started early. Appreciate that. Stacks, racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. We're at 5:95 to go. Appreciate you. Trident's up. Bottom of the first inning, 4-0 Seattle. And we got a 2-1 count here on Dominic Canzone. I mean, Garver still may be one of our, worst players overall with like Solano and Dylan Moore. But even guys like Solano and Garver once in a while can, end up getting an RBI and, an occasional home run once in a while as Canzone singles to right and Garver to second. Here we go. Keep the rally going. And when things are going good, when you've gone through every batter 1 through 9 in the first inning. And again, Let's see if we can get JP with a little bit of magic here with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Imagine if JP hits a big home run here and we go up 7-0 in the first. First pitch from Hauser to JP, high and away, 1-0 count. And again, it's not like Hauser has got a terrible record of like 0-9 and an ERA of 11. He's 6-3, 6 wins, 3 losses, 2.54 ERA. So again, it shows that the Mariners can beat up bad pitchers, but we can also dominate against the good ones and the elite ones, especially here in 2025. Even before we got Naylor and Gino, we still have had pretty good success against the elites. I mean, just ask Scooball and a few of the others. We've had their way with them. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike swinging, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Hauser to JP. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Hopefully we won't have too many 17-pitch at-bats like JP had yesterday. That was the most pitches for an at-bat that we've had in 2025. It did not lead to a walk or a hit, but still great effort by JP Crawford. And also got that pitch count up for that pitcher at that time as well. 1-2 pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to JP Crawford. Let's go, JP. Two pitch, high and away with the curveball. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Hauser to Crawford. Let's see if we can get a walk for a big RBI or a possible home run. Three-two pitch, and that is a walk. Nice eyes by JP. Now we got bases loaded, and we're back at the top of the order. And guess who it is? Going against his former team. He's gotten singles in both games, quite a few of them, but we're still looking for the elusive home run. Could we get the grand salami in game number 3 for Randy Arozarena and go up 8-0? Could happen. Let's go, Randy. I mean, obviously we know Randy's good for singles and doubles and occasional triple once in a while, but this could be the time where we could see Randy have some magic. And I know he wants to homer against his former team. First pitch from Hauser to Randy. Big swing and a miss, low and away with the slider, 0-1 count. Bottom of the first inning, bases loaded with 2 outs. We've already gone through 1 through 9 once, and we're back at the top of the order already. Unbelievable. This is one of the best starts we've had to a game in 2025 all year. 0-1 pitch, low and away. Slider missing the strike zone by a few inches there by Hauser, 87 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike from Hauser to Randy. 1-1 pitch, big swing and miss, high and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes with bases loaded and 2 outs. Well, I hope you have a great trip, to visit family or friends there in Vietnam, and I'll definitely be holding it down here. 4-0 Seattle lead here in the bottom of the first inning. Cal Raleigh made history early in the matchup, hitting home run number 45, homering in 3 consecutive games in a row against the Rays, which ties Johnny Bench in 1970. 1-2 pitch, and Arozarena grounds out to second, and unfortunately we leave bases loaded stranded, but we still have a 4-0 lead. We've already gone through the entire lineup once. Again, at some point you knew the rally was going to end. I was just hoping that Randy would be able to get a home run or an RBI to at least get us a little bit more. But again, beggars can't be choosers. We never get 4 runs in the first inning. We never go 1 through 9 in the first inning as well. And again, Cal Raleigh making history with home runs in 3 consecutive games after kind of a slow start after the All-Star break and after winning the Home Run Derby. But it seems like he's starting to really pick up the pace, and we're going to need it moving forward. End of the first inning, one of the best first innings of the year, 4-0 Mariners. We fucking love that. Let's go. And the great thing about the Mariners, too, you got guys like Ichiro, who's retired, who literally, has a home in Japan and a home, in Seattle. But when it's Mariner season, he's typically here in Seattle when the players are here. He actually wakes up super early, gets fully dressed as if he's still a player, and does batting practice and throws with the players. That's dedication, and that's kind of a secret weapon, that we have as far as one of the best hitters of all time. Think about how many guys have retired, right, and that are still with the team. That are still doing drills. Like none. Ichiro is literally the only one. You might have guys that are in the booth, that end up doing play-by-play or color for the radio or the TV broadcast, but there is absolutely nobody that dresses like they're still playing, and to be able to help the players on this organization. And again, to be able to have Seitzer and Edgar and Ichiro, and obviously we know Dan Wilson is inexperienced. This is his first time, being a manager. And obviously he's had some ups and some downs, some peaks and some valleys. He's made some mistakes, but he's also made some good calls. And again, great to be able to see this fast start. Next up here in the top of the second is Brian Wu. First pitch from Wu. And that's going to go to Josh Lowe. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Fouled off. Low and away. No balls and 2 strikes to the 5-hole hitter DHing today, Josh Lowe. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Natman in the building. What's good? Who ended up winning the race? I saw with like 25 laps left, obviously there was a lot of movement there. I believe Briscoe had the lead the last time I checked, and I assume the race is over by now. So top of the second inning, 4-0 Seattle. 0-2 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Wu to Lowe. Yeah, I didn't see Chase in the top 20, so I figured he had a bad outing. 1-2 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Wu to Lowe. No, I don't think there really necessarily is a curse for home run, derby winners. If anything, it's a big honor to be able to win that. And again, if Cal participates in a home run derby again, again and wins, obviously we know Ken Griffey Jr. has won 3 times, and we'll see if Cal can end up getting some more honors for the Seattle Mariners. 2-2 pitch, in play, and a nice double by Lowe in between the gaps as Dominic Canzone kind of fumbles it there, and he is safe. Next up, at the deadline, from the Dodgers, catcher Hunter Fiducia. Yeah, I mean, it's like Boris Said, from back in the day. I think SVG is doing what we thought Boris was going to do back in the day. We already knew that certain guys are only good at like road tracks and maybe not as good on regular tracks. And, to be able to have, that type of dominance, it's good that he is a full-time racer. Kind of unfair for everyone else because they can't really keep up with him most of the time, but it's pretty cool to see a guy that wasn't a regular and then decided to kind of come in for a race or two to see how he would do. And I remember him winning at the Chicago track a few years ago, and I was like, man, this guy has really got it. He doesn't seem like a one-trick pony, and he continues to win pretty frequently here in the last few years. Good for him. 0-2 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Wu to Fiducia. .40 Mariner lead here in the top of the second inning with big dumper Cal Raleigh making history, tying Johnny Bench with 45 home runs. And again, 48 is the record. So we know Cal's going to obliterate that record, and it won't be crazy to think that he'll break his own record, down the road. I don't think there's really going to be anybody on his level as far as home run hitting. And again, it'll be kind of interesting to see how many 50 home run seasons Cal Raleigh can punch, obviously, before his career is up. And if we're lucky, we may even see him eclipse 60 at some point. If it's not this year, maybe in the future. 2-2 pitch, in play, popped up to third and fouled out, and that is 1 away. Next up, in the 7-hole, shortstop Ha-Seong Kim. First pitch from Woo to Kim, fouls it off right down the middle, 0-1 count. And after being down 1-0 early in game 1 and game 2 with Brandon Lowe's solo dingers, even though Julio had a 2-run jack in the bottom of the first inning for us to retake the lead, it feels good to be able to have this monster lead in the first inning. And again, we haven't gone 1 through 9 that often, and we haven't scored 4 runs in the first inning that often either. Just great to be able to see what we're being able to bring together. You know, the addition of Naylor and Gino obviously is hitting home, not only to the guys that are playing, but the guys that are in the pen as well. 0-2 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes from Woo to Kim. And, you know, it's crazy to say, but we are World Series contenders. We are not pretenders. This is the best team that we've had since 2001. And yes, we're not going to win 116 games like we did in Ichiro's rookie year in 2001, but we could possibly do something that Ichiro's team couldn't do. We might be able to make an ALDS, ALCS, and World Series. And, you know, the reality is actually like starting to kind of fruition right in front of our very eyes. Like it could actually happen. And we know the Astros are good. We know the Blue Jays are amazing. The Tigers are good. And obviously the Yankees are reeling, but Judge is back with the team. So that'll help. Obviously New York to a certain degree, even though pitching hasn't been the greatest for them and Soto is no longer there. Red Sox have overtaken them, but we'll see how long that will stick. But it just feels like, you know, we got the best team in the American League top to bottom. Now we just have to prove it. You know, even though our record won't be the best, it's about how good we're playing at that time. 1-2 pitch in play, and Kim with a beautiful double to left, and Lowe scores 4-1 Mariners. And it seems like no matter how big of a lead we get, one thing for Tampa, you know, they always respond. They don't just give up and they don't feel sorry for themselves. It feels like, you know, they're going to get a run or 2 or 3, you know, pretty quickly after we end up having our monster inning. And every time we do something, they typically respond. They may not respond with, you know, tying it up, but at least that they're showing that, hey, we're not going to get steamrolled completely. And a nice big hit there by Kim. Pair of doubles in this inning. And next up is right fielder Jake Mangum. First pitch from Woo to Mangum, fouls it off, 0-1 count. And we want Woo to give up 3 runs or less, but preferably 1 or 2. So 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees, 1 ball and 1 strike from Woo to Mangum. Yeah, but it doesn't matter that he didn't break Bonds' record, you know, because Bonds cheated. You know, so every, you know, star that had numbers that were higher than Cal Raleigh, you know, all of them cheated. You know, Barry Bonds, you know, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa. So, you know, if you're looking at guys in the steroid era, those don't really count. You know, Roger Maris had 61 home runs. Aaron Judge in 2022 got 62. That's a legit number. You know, for a lot of those other guys in the steroid era, that shit don't count. That's an asterisk. You know, you can count it, you know, but again, if Ken Griffey Jr. did fucking steroids and PEDs, he would have hit 800 home runs and he might have gotten 80 in a season. So, you know, again, do you want to really be known for, you know, cheating and whatnot? So I'm glad that, you know, even though we're the only team that hasn't been to a World Series, we don't have anybody linked to PEDs or Balco or any type of cheating or scandal. And if anyone had a scandal after us, you know, it was after they left our team, like Alex Rodriguez. Good riddance. If we're talking about Rodriguez, the only one we talk about is Julio. We don't claim Alex Rodriguez over here. That guy's a D-bag. So, and again, you can kind of tell that he was on that progression when he took the big contract on Texas and then obviously making his way to the Yankees. You know, it doesn't seem like a very good human being off the field either. So, you know, Alex can go his way. We'll definitely have the good Rodriguez with Julio. 2-2 pitch and big swing and a miss. Down goes Mangum, and that is 2 away. Yeah, but we don't need to beat records of guys that did steroids. It's about beating guys that are clean. And again, that's what makes us so special, you know, with Ken Griffey Jr. and Cal, that we're doing it the right way. And, you know, again, and most people would see that as well. Even the Houston Astros, you know, they're never going to get, you know, the cheating scandal away from that organization. I mean, hell, it'll be 40 years from now and people will still be talking about the garbage cans and the cheating, you know. So it's like if you end up winning a World Series, you know, or you have certain accomplishments based off cheating, it all goes out the window. The only people that don't think that are Astros fans that are delusional, thinking that the cheating never happened or it was, overblown by the media, which we know was not true. Because not only did they use the garbage cans, they actually used Apple Watches and they had buzzers underneath their jerseys to let them know when it buzzed when a certain pitch was coming. I mean, that's the ultimate cheat job, and we already know the Red Sox cheated as well a couple years after that with the Apple Watches, but it's a little bit different. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and down goes Peters. Nice job by Brian Wu with another punch out, and now we have a nice 4-1 lead. Way to bring that electricity, Brian Wu. That's my boy. Let's go to the bottom of the second inning and see if we can get a few more runs. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Next up for the Mariners, 1-for-1 with a run, 2 RBIs. Already has a big home run already for the Mariners. Home run number 45, tying Johnny Bench in 1970. Can Cal Raleigh get another one here today? I hope so. Big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting second, 1-for-1 with the run. 2 home runs last night, a single to start off today. One of the hottest hitters in the last month, Julio Rodriguez. Trident's up. Let's go, Julio. And batting third, 0-for-0 with a run and a base on ball. He is a stolen bag extraordinaire, swiping bags left and right. Even as a big boy, he can do it. First baseman, Josh Naylor. And again, the vibes have been so different after we got Naylor and Gino. Like, we had a good team, without Naylor and Gino, but now we have an elite team, arguably the best in the American League. And again, we know the Blue Jays and Tigers, their records are going to be better than us, but we have a chance, obviously, to be in that same range of the Astros. And obviously we would hope that we're going to be better than the Yankees and the Red Sox, record wise. But, again, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And whoever is hot and healthy, we got Bryce Miller and Victor Robles, just about ready to come back to the team. And again, if those guys end up providing anything positive for the team moving forward, it could be the edge that we need to get past teams like the Astros, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Tigers, in the playoffs this year. First pitch to Big Dumper and grounds out to the pitcher, throw to first, and that is 1 away. Little blooper there off the end of the bat. 1 out. Next up is center fielder Julio Rodriguez. 1-for-1 with a run. Let's see if Julio can do some damage here at this at-bat. First pitch, takes a strike looking high and inside, 0-1 count. And you could definitely tell the progression with Julio. He's been so much more patient, with his at-bats. Are there going to be at-bats where, he's going to be a little overly aggressive and he's, trying to hunt for that first pitch strike right down the middle and trying to capitalize like he did with that second home run off the first pitch? That was a line drive that left the park in like 3 seconds. That will happen from time to time, but he's looking for singles, and that's really changing his game. 0-1 pitch. And a nice infield single to third. Safe. Great job, Julio. You're starting to see him really hustle, towards first base. And again, imagine if this Julio that we're seeing right now, we could have had in March and April. Obviously had a great May. June was a little on and off, and then obviously started to get hot in July. And now we're here, obviously, after the All-Star break. And he's one of the hottest hitters in baseball, and we fucking love to see it. Nice job, Julio. It doesn't have to be a home run swing, and he's finally understanding that. You can help the team win by getting a shitload of singles and doubles and moving runners over. Great job. Next up is Josh Naylor. First pitch, takes a strike looking, high and inside, 0-1 count. 2 more likes to 50, baby. Let's go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes and 100 on the dono train. 0-1 pitch. Fouled off, low and away. No balls and 2 strikes from Hauser to Naylor. And we already have one of the best 1 through 9s in baseball, but if you add Victor Robles to that and Dom takes a seat on the bench or takes over, between him and Polo at DH, could be huge. 0-2 pitch and Naylor getting hit. Wow. Hopefully he's okay. Obviously he had to leave the game in the White Sox series with the shoulder soreness. We don't want Naylor to get any additional injuries. Looks like he's okay. Now we got runners at first and second with 1 out. Next up, good vibes only, Eugenio Suarez. 1 for 1 with 2 RBIs and had a beautiful single that brought in 2. Let's see what we can get from Eugenio Suarez here. Yeah, it's kind of a damn shame, with so many different individuals that, felt the need to be able to cheat. It's like Bonds would have made the Hall of Fame without cheating, with his numbers. He was a great player even when he was skinny on the Pirates, but with McGuire and his greed and obviously linking with Canseco, obviously in the late 80s, early 90s, as Suarez grounds out into the double play, and that is the end of the inning, But again, it really depends on who you're around, right? And again, when you start seeing other guys doing certain things, it really does make me proud that out of all the people, that I could have met when I was younger, that I met like literally the only guy or one of the only guys that was a superstar that was clean in Ken Griffey Jr. So, I would be absolutely crushed if I was like a Giants fan and then figured out Bonds cheated, or if I was a McGuire fan or a Sosa fan or a Rafael Palmeiro fan or Roger Clemens fan. Again, it was very rampant, and we're still going to see people use steroids in every sport or PEDs or banned substances. And, obviously winning is everything. And some people are willing to take that to the ultimate test. And obviously they're willing to cheat, and hopefully in their minds, they don't get caught. But nowadays, with different testing and different evaluations, it's one of those things that you can't really hide, from Balco, steroids, or a scandal. They're going to find out eventually, and they typically do. And when they do catch you, you're usually banned for quite some time. Could be 50 games, could be 100 games, could be a season, could be longer. End of the second inning, 4-1 Mariner lead. Let's see who's up next here in the top of the third for the Tampa Bay Rays. Next up for the Rays, 0 for 1, left fielder in the 1 hole, Chandler Simpson. Batting second, 1 for 1, first baseman Yandy Diaz. And batting third, second baseman with homers in Game 1 and Game 2, Brandon Lowe. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. First pitch from Wu to Simpson. Takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. Of course, some people are sneakerheads. I'm more of a jersey collector as well. So, I got a lot of Bucks, a lot of Oregon Ducks, a lot of Seattle Mariners, a lot of Blazers. Those are the 4 main teams. Obviously, rep the Kraken as well, but I don't have any Kraken hockey jerseys at the moment. Maybe one day, I'll end up buying one, but I, don't have the extra funds for something like that at the moment. 0-1 pitch, in play, and Simpson. Wow. All the way into left field. Hustle, Randy. My God. And a triple from Simpson because Randy is lazy. And again, that shows you, that should have been only a double. But again, if Randy doesn't hustle, it turns into a triple. And again, those are the things that you need to make sure that you're watching. Randy obviously gives you good vibes most of the time, but again, if there was a single player that ends up, kind of picking and choosing when he wants to play in the outfield, it's Randy Arozarena. You would never see Julio or Victor Robles, hustle, with that type of lack of intensity to get to a ball. Unbelievable. First pitch to Yandy Diaz and grounds out to second, but then Simpson scores from third due to lazy defense by Randy, and just like that, a 4-1 lead turns into 4-2. Come on now. Next up is second baseman Brandon Lowe. Top of the third inning, 4-2 Mariner lead, which should have been still 4-1. But again, it shows you if you are willing to put in the work and you hustle and you get to third and there's 0 outs or 1 out, chances are they will knock you in. And again, that could have been prevented if Randy just hustled. But again, that's just kind of something that he's always done, even in his Tampa Bay Ray days, in the early part of his career. 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike swinging right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike from Wu to Lowe. One pitch, fouled off right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Wu to Lowe. Top of the third inning, 4-2 Mariner lead. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and down goes Lowe. Nice job by Brian Wu. And Lowe has definitely been a thorn in our side with homers in game 1 and game 2, but no homer here, 2 away. Nice job by Brian Wu. We like it, baby. Bring that electricity. Keep it going, Brian. Next up for Brian Wu is Junior Caminero. First pitch to Caminero, low and away with a sinker, 96 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Top of the third inning with a 4-2 Mariner lead. And awesome to be able to see Ichiro, on the mound for the first pitch, throwing to Randy Johnson in catcher gear. We definitely have a special squad, with Edgar and Randy and Ichiro and Ken Griffey Jr. And, Cal will be joining the greats, obviously, more than likely down the road as well. 1-0 pitch, fouled it off right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody on and 2 outs, a 4-2 Mariner lead. Caminero in the box and Brian Wu on the mound. One pitch, fouled off, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Absolutely. Absolute stud. I mean, there was a lot of guys, back in that old school era that were incredibly special. Hank Aaron, right? Babe Ruth, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio, it goes on and on and on. 1-2 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Wu to Caminero. 2-2 pitch and popped up and flied out to center, and that is out number 3. Luckily, we don't have a Caminero home run there, and they chip into our lead with a great hustle play by Chandler Simpson, where Randy was not hustling, and a double turned into a triple, and they ended up getting him knocked in, but at least we still have a 2-run lead, but we're still going to need more to feel comfortable here today. Next up for the Mariners here in the bottom of the third inning, 0 for 1 with a K, second baseman Jorge Polanco. Batting second, 0 for 0 with a walk, and his first at bat, catcher Mitch Garver. And batting third, 1 for 1, right fielder Dominic Canzone. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes and 100 on the Dono train. Oh, yeah, Ted Williams, you can go that route. Sandy Koufax. I mean, there's a lot of guys that we can go and mention that played, back in the day. That definitely had an impact on, not only the game back then, but even has an impact now. All right, looks like we're at 60 likes. We need 40 more to hit the goal. And we have 90 people in the room, 90, that haven't hit the like button yet. So if you are in the room and haven't done it yet, do your boy a solid. If we get half of the 90, we're at 100. And we're at 5 on the Dono train, 95 to go. And we only needed a few subs to be able to get to our goal of 21,400. We needed 18. We've gained 2 subs so far, so now 16 to go to hit the goal. And we've been getting about 5 to 15 a day. A couple streams with the White Sox, we were getting about 25, 30, and then the next one was around 50. But that's not going to be that common unless it ends up being a game that, you know, maybe goes extra innings, or we end up having a special group that shows up here. Bottom of the third inning, 4-2 Mariners. Tokyo Joe. I mean, what are we talking about? Are we talking about overall? I think overall, Randy is a very good player. You know, he's a guy that can get you 20, 30 home runs, singles, doubles, maybe an occasional triple. You know, really the only problem that anyone has with Randy is just hustling in left field. You know, and, you know, for every one amazing play that he makes, diving, or, making a sliding grab, it feels like at some point then he has a couple of like lackluster effort plays where, he already sees the ball drop into left field, but instead of running, 10 out of 10 speed, he runs at like a 5, like he's jogging, like the game doesn't matter, like it's practice. And again, we've seen quite a few singles turn into doubles and doubles turn into triples based off that. So I think that's really the only gripe that we have of Randy, but overall, a solid player that we love. And down goes Polo there with the line drive, 1 away. Next up is Mitch Garver. First pitch to Garv from Hauser, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, high and away with that slider, 87 miles an hour by Adrian Hauser. No balls and 2 strikes from Hauser to Garv. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees with the sinker, 95 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Mitch Garver. Bottom of the third inning, 4-2 Mariner lead. Two-two pitch, big swing and a miss. And that is strike 3 on Mitch Garver. Nice job by Hauser to getting a punch out there. We're not haters here. He's trying to, at least kind of bounce back after giving up 4 runs in the first inning. Next up is Dominic Canzone. So on a scale of like 1 to 10, like 8, 8.5. There's a few guys that are better than him, but he definitely is, a solid role player. I mean, he's better than Polo. If you're going to look at the guys that are, kind of similar based on, their skill set in their game. But, obviously Julio is better, Cal is better, but Randy is definitely there with like Gino and Naylor in that kind of second tier. And again, we need him. There's no doubt about it. I just wish that he would hustle, every single time in left field. And then it would be, it may be a slightly higher, number. But overall, I still love him. I just don't want that type of lack of effort to come back to bite us in the playoffs, especially if we end up playing the Astros or the Blue Jays and the Tigers and they end up having a big play into left field. 1-1 pitch and Canzone back, and that stays in play, and that is out number 3. End of the third inning, 4-2 Mariner lead. Let's see who's up next here for the Rays in the top of the 4th inning. Next up for the Rays, 1 for 1 with a run, DHing in the 5-hole, Josh Lowe. Batting second, catching for the Rays, Hunter Fiducia, 0 for 1. And batting third, 1 for 1 with an RBI, shortstop, Ha Seong Kim. Trident's up. Let's go M's. $72. Let's get to a hundo. And once we get to a hundo, we can get to 125 or 150. Gained another sub. 15 to go to hit the goal. 15 subs to go to hit the goal of 21,400. Let's go, baby. And we're at 5 on the dono train, 95 to go. And just a quick recap for anyone that's just tuning in to the broadcast. So obviously early on, we know Cal Raleigh homered in game 1 to win us a big game, down 2-0, hit a 3-run blast. Then obviously had a dinger yesterday as well. And in the first inning, homered to right, 376 feet with Randy on board, 2-0 Mariners, tying Johnny Bench for second place all time with 45 home runs. And we still got, almost 50 games to go. So pretty exciting to see how many more Cal will get. And the record is Salvador Perez with 48. So we know he'll obliterate that. So we had an early 2-0 lead with Cal. And then in that same inning, Gino came up, singled to left, Rodriguez and Naylor scored, so that made it 4-0. And then in the top of the second, Kim doubled to left and Lowe scored, making it 4-1. And then Diaz grounded out to second. Simpson scored when he ended up hustling for that triple. And then we're sitting at a 4-2 lead. Good vibes only. Tridents up. Let's go M's. First pitch from Brian Wu to Josh Lowe. Fouls it off. Right down the middle, 0-1 count. Top of the fourth inning, 4-2 Mariner lead. Oh, 1 pitch, takes the strike swinging high and inside. No balls and 2 strikes from Wu to Lowe. 0-2 pitch, high and away with the four-seam fastball, missing the strike zone by a few inches. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Josh Lowe. 1-2 pitch, fouled off, high and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Josh Lowe. Top of the fourth inning with nobody on and no outs, a 4-2 Mariner lead. Magic number is 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. But again, we want to be able to get as many as we can. And hopefully we can finish this game with 7 or 8 runs. I would love to get a few more home runs and a few more ribbies. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and down goes Lowe, and another punch out by Brian Wu. Way to bring that electricity, Wu, my boy. One away. 5th K for Brian Wu. Hauser only has 2. Nice job, Wu. Next up, picked up at the deadline from the Dodgers, catcher Hunter Fiducia. First pitch from Wu to Fiducia, fouls it off low and away, 0-1 count. Man, that's tough. I love me some Wu. I love me some Gilbert. And again, we know with George Kirby, when he's healthy, he can be a top 20 pitcher. Obviously, Castillo has had a little bit of a rebirth in his career. 0-1 pitch in play and fouled out to the catcher, 2 away. And then obviously Bryce Miller has had some injuries and whatnot. But I would say all time, obviously for the Mariners, it's definitely Randy Johnson and then Felix Hernandez. But as far as this team, I would say probably a tie between Wu and Gilbert. I like Kirby a lot too. I'm just kind of concerned to see how he looks after this season. If he can get back to his true form after the injury, or if the injury bug is going to be something that kind of haunts him. And I hope it doesn't, and then again, when we get Cade coming in, that will be exciting as well. First pitch from Wu to Kim, back, see ya. And the Asian sensation strikes again, and a solo dinger by Kim. And just like that, 4-3 Mariner lead. And again, it shows you no matter what, even when we have a 4-0 lead, this team isn't going to quit. And Ha-Seong Kim didn't play in game 1, and he probably should have. And he's making his mark well known here for the Rays. And just like that, 366 feet later, we're only up by a run. Nice job by Kim bringing the electricity for the Rays. Next up, right fielder Jake Mangum. And we can't have Wu give up anymore. But again, even though he's an all-star in 2025, again, not many teams would be able to be above 500 with 3 out of their 5 being injured for a good chunk of the year. Kirby out the first 50-plus games. Miller
played the first few games of the season hurt with a back and an elbow and was shitty. And then obviously Gilbert missed half of the first half of the season, roughly. So, we had to really rely on Wu and, Luis Castillo, La Piedra, as well as Emerson Hancock and Logan Evans just to kind of stay afloat. And, our starting pitching has not been as good as it was in years past. But on the flip side, the hitting has gotten tremendously better. So, again, I think we'll take that trade-off. We still want the starters to be great, but again, if you're able to get 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits, often compared to having, guys that are getting 10 Ks, but we can't score any fucking runs, and for the longest time, we were like one of the worst hitting teams in baseball and like the number 1 strikeout team. And it's hard to be even able to get past 3 in past years. So even if you had a guy like Gilbert with 11 Ks, sometimes we would lose 1-0 or 2-1. And those losses are fucking brutal just because you can't fucking hit. And it's like those, pitching matchups were for nothing. But now, we're giving up runs, 2, 3, 4 out of our starting pitchers. But on the flip side, we're able to score 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And that's kind of the difference. 1-2 pitch, fouled off, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Wu to Mangum. 1-2 pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Wu to Mangum. Top of the 4th inning, 4-3 Mariner lead. Freddie Garcia, he's just not as big of a name, but obviously, Garcia was a stud, Chris Bosio. I mean, there's a lot of guys that, we've had that were like good or guys that we liked, Jamie Moyer or whoever we've had, come through, Norm Charlton, whether it be a starter or a closer, especially if you go back in that 2001 team, how electric we really were and whatnot. But, Freddie Garcia was no Felix Hernandez or Randy Johnson, but he was good. And Mangum gets a double to left, and they're starting to rough up Brian Wu. And again, Wu has been not that great, in the last few starts. Some guys are electric at the first part of the year, and they kind of hit a wall. And again, Wu was really good at the beginning of the year, but again, after this All-Star break, definitely doesn't look like the same type of guy with the same type of stuff. Has been giving up a little bit more hits, RBIs, and home runs that we would like, but we're still finding ways to win, but hopefully it'll be better as we get closer to the end of the season. First pitch from Wu to Peters, takes a strike swinging right down the middle, 0-1 count. Top of the 4th inning, 4-3 Mariner lead. And again, we had a 4-0 lead in the first, but again, the Rays are not giving up, and, respect to them, making the game interesting instead of it just being kind of going through the motions the rest of the innings. Gives us, more effort to be able to try to earn this win and earn this sweep, even though we've already won the series. 1 pitch, fouled it off right down the middle. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Wu to Peters. So there's a few ways that you can end up donating to the channel if you want to support the dream. So some people, will end up supporting through just the super chat. So if you look on the YouTube screen, there'll be usually like a dollar sign that you can click on, and then usually people will put in some kind of debit card, and then you can type in the donation that you want as Peter strikes out swinging, and that is out number 3. Others will donate through Cash App or Venmo. If you have Cash App or Venmo, you can donate that way as well. And it just kind of depends on personal preference. Anyone can hit the like button. Anyone can chat if they want to. Obviously, subbing to the channel is great, but the ultimate honor that you can get is not only donating to a channel, but you're donating to a dream. And that's really what it is. I've been doing this for 13 years. I've been full-time for 3 or 4 years. This is my 9th year on YouTube. Next year will be 14 years of streaming, 10 on YouTube next year. And again, I plan on doing this for the rest of my life. So I'm definitely been blessed in this type of position, but it hasn't come without sacrifice. I sacrificed a PSA 9 1986 Fleer Michael Jordan rookie, which is worth like $20,000 to $30,000 now, where I ended up having to sell it years ago to be able to get the computer, the iMac, the speakers, the mics, you know, the whole 9 yards. And obviously, if I didn't have any dreams or goals, I never would have sold that card. You know, I could have ended up, you know, getting a down payment on a house or buying a car or investing in Bitcoin or something of that nature. But again, you know, sometimes good things happen, you know, for a reason. And, you know, when I ended up getting that Jordan rookie in 2003 in LeBron's rookie year, I got it on eBay, and economy was very bad at that time. The card was worth $2,500, and I ended up winning it for $1,000. You know, it was $980 and $20 for insurance, and I was bidding with like 50 other people, and I didn't really think I was going to win, and I put in one last bid with like a second left, and I won. And again, not bad of an investment of $1,000 that I spent for a $2,500 card in 2003, which is now worth $20,000 to $30,000. So, and then once Jordan passes away, you know, that'll probably go up to $100,000 or higher. So, bottom of the fourth inning, 4-3 Mariner lead. Hauser on the mound, J.P. Crawford in the box. First pitch from Hauser to J.P. Takes a strike looking high and away. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Takes another strike looking low and away. No balls and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. Let's go, J.P. Pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Hauser to JP. Yeah, they've definitely have been playing around with the format a little bit more. You know, they've definitely been kind of moving things around a little bit. I've noticed too, because I'm just pulling it up on my phone, and they used to have a little money sign that you could kind of click on and go that route as well. But now what you have to do is you have to open up the chat. It's not just on the menu. So if you have your phone, go to live chat, and then you hit that live chat, and then you open it up. And then once you look there in the bottom right corner, it's flashing, and it's like a symbol, like a money symbol in the bottom right-hand corner next to the smiley face and then the chat. And then if you hit that, that should allow you to bring that up. So. But again, they used to have a money sign just right on the main, stream itself. But for whatever reason, they changed it. Now you actually have to open up the chat, and then in the bottom right corner, you'll see a dollar sign that's flashing blue a couple times. And then if you click that, then that will allow you to donate through the super chat. If you would prefer to donate through Venmo or Cash App, just let me know, and then I can kind of let you know what you need to do for that. So obviously on the ticker down below, it'll give you, kind of the, username on the Cash App side. And then obviously if you want to do Venmo instead, I can provide that information. So, but most people do Cash App or through the Super Chat itself. The main difference is if you do through Venmo or Cash App, I usually get like 95% of it. If you go through the Super Chat through YouTube, I usually get like 65% of it. So there's a reason why some people will do Cash App and Venmo instead, because I'll get more of that to be able to pay bills and take care of my pup. But also it really depends if you have a Venmo or a Cash App to do it. So I appreciate that very, very much. $5 holla. Stacks, racks with a little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. And again, if there's anything you guys want to see photo-wise with the dono, I usually provide, an HD or 4K photo or two of your favorite player or thing, based on the dono itself. So, and Rosarina gets into second safe. Yeah. Well, I mean, some people know that information, and some people, do not. So I'm usually too busy calling the game to kind of go over through all the information with that, Like anything that's done, supporting my dream is greatly appreciated. But yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize that. That's why you have to work so hard, to kind of make up the difference when people are donating through the super chat, since you're, getting only a percentage, through YouTube and Google, they definitely, it's like eBay, they get theirs. 0-2 pitch to big dumper and a big swing and a miss. And that is strike 3. 2 away. Next up is center fielder 2 for 2, having a great game today and a great game yesterday with 2 home runs, Julio Rodriguez. Yeah, I think once people realize that's the difference, then usually I'll get people that typically only do, Cash App or Venmo, if they have, the option to do all 3. So, anything that is, done is greatly appreciated. First pitch from Hauser to Julio, fouls it off low and at the knees, 0-1 count. Because again, also people don't realize, when you do streaming for a full-time job, you only get paid once a month. So again, if you have bills, and sometimes it's nice to be able to have that Cash App or Venmo, so that way that you can actually, pay for something rather than only, getting paid once a month. And then if you're kind of waiting, and if you're not getting Cash App or Venmo donos, then you just kind of have to wait or, make an adjustment with whatever company and, try to push out the bill or, whatever kind of agreement that you can come to. So 0-2 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Hauser to Julio. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning with a Mariner 4-3 lead with a runner at second. Randy Arozarena, don't get caught stealing. 1-2 pitch, and Julio gets hit by the pitch. Now we got runners at first and second with 2 outs. I appreciate that, Kevin. And anything you want to see, Kevin and John, let me know, and I got you. And hopefully that would assist Brian on the donation attempt, whether you want to do Cash App, Venmo, or through the YouTube Super Chat. Next up, 0 for 0 with a run and a base on ball. Runners at first and second with 2 outs, Josh Naylor. And right on the elbow. Thank God Julio's wearing an elbow pad. That could have been bad. First pitch from Hauser to Naylor, fouls it off high and away, 0-1 count. Oh, 0-1 pitch, takes a big swing and a miss, low and at the knees. No balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Like we're at 81. We need 19 more likes to be able to hit the goal. We have half of the people in the room that have done it so far. If we can just get a quarter of those half that haven't done it out of those 80, 90 people that haven't done it, we'll be at our goal. 19 more likes to get to 100. And the reason that we, obviously are addressing the likes, because people think it doesn't matter, but it really does. Because once you end up hitting a certain type of number, YouTube will look at that algorithm and they'll be able to recommend to other people that are looking for an MLB stream, a Mariner stream, a Rays stream, and then you can actually get more people that will get the recommendation that could lead to more subs, more views, more donos, more shares, and just an overall growth in the channel. So the more participation that you have by the people in the room, the better that you're going to be able to move forward with your channel. So that's why we end up going over those numbers, and that's why everyone that does YouTube kind of approaches it that way. 0-2 pitch, and Naylor grounds out to the pitcher, throw to first, and that is out number 3. So nice rally by the Rays, 6 hits apiece, and again, hopefully we get a little bit more hustle in the outfield by guys like Randy, and we're in the top of the 5th inning when we had a 4-0 lead in the first, but the Rays obviously have not quit and not given up. And we're right in it with them right now with just a 1-run lead. Let's see who's up next here for the Rays in the top of the 5th inning. Next up for the Rays, 1 for 2 with a run, a triple, left fielder Chandler Simpson. Batting second, 1 for 2 with an RBI, first baseman Yandy Diaz. And batting third, 0 for 2 with a K, second baseman Brandon Lowe. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Throw up some Ichiro for you. I got a lot of Ichiro memorabilia over the years. Autographs, bobbleheads, rookie cards, you name it, I got it. McFarland's. And again, to be able to, get a sweep on this Ichiro celebration weekend would be great. But we're going to have to earn it here in these last few innings. And the best part about the whole thing, besides getting the number retired and separating himself with Randy Johnson, since they both wear 51 and Randy will be honored next year, is they're going to make a statue for Ichiro, which is awesome. They already got an Edgar statue in front of the building, as well as Ken Griffey Jr. Ichiro will have a statue out there as well. I'll definitely get a picture in front of that. And then eventually we'll get a Randy Johnson statue, I would assume, as well. Even though Randy didn't play as long, as some of the other guys, it's still a pretty long time. Anytime you can end up playing close to 10 years, but obviously had more success on other teams, like with the Diamondbacks and winning the World Series. The Mariners definitely fumbled the bag, with Randy Johnson. That should have been someone that was a Mariner for life, but, it is what it is. First pitch from Wu to Simpson. Bunts foul right down the middle, 0-1 count. See if we gained a few more subs. 5 more subs gained. We only need 10 more to go to hit the goal. Gained 8 subs already today. 10 more to go to hit 21,400. 1-1 pitch. Low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike from Wu to Simpson. We're in the top of the 5th with a battle between the Mariners and the Rays. Mariners were up 4-0 in the first, with Cal Raleigh making history, tying Johnny Bench for the second most home runs by a catcher ever, 45. He's hit 3 homers in 3 consecutive games. So it's starting to get off the cold streak that he was on. He's starting to get hot at the right time, and hopefully we'll get a little bit more. 2-1 pitch. And Simpson with a double left, almost in the same spot where he ended up getting that triple. And Randy, are you hustling or not? Come on, Randy. You better not give up another fucking triple. And luckily, hustling slightly better than the first time around, but Simpson getting a double and this at bat. Next up is first baseman Yandy Diaz. Yeah, and it's kind of funny too, because some of the people in the organization thought that, maybe not he was washed, but they didn't want to pay, and they didn't think his numbers would be as good. And then if you go and look at Randy's stats on the Diamondbacks, it's like winning Cy Youngs, getting 300 plus Ks, winning a World Series. They should have known better, for a guy that's almost 7 foot as a lefty. Like, that's someone, obviously in a perfect world, Ken Griffey Jr. and Randy Johnson would have never left, but, business is business. But, it definitely was one of those things where, you saw him leave and have that type of success, and you were thinking to yourself, what if Randy Johnson was on that 2001 team? Could that have been the difference where we could have maybe made the World Series that year and maybe even won it with Randy pitching a couple games in a 7-game set? Hell, Randy could have pitched 3 games, pitch game 1, game 4, and game 7 if needed. And Diaz strikes out. That is 1 away. But again, he had a great career, and it's one of those guys that even though he left Seattle, we still have a lot of love for him. Next up, 0 for 2 with a K, second baseman Brandon Lowe. Top of the 5th inning with a runner at second, Chandler Simpson. 4-3 Mariner lead. Wu been a little shaky, and has been shaky in the last few starts. He was much better pre-All-Star break. Post-All-Star break is kind of hit or miss, but hopefully this will be all he gives up the rest of the way, and we don't really know what we're going to get pen-wise. Are we going to see, Brash? Are we going to see Bizzardo? Are we going to see, Spire? Or is it going to be like Carlos Vargas and some of those other guys? And again, sometimes those guys will do okay, and other times they'll blow the game for us. So we'll see where it goes. I definitely don't want to lose this game because we got the day off tomorrow, and we have a long road trip ahead. And again, there's not very many teams in MLB that got a great road record. There's only one, and that's the Milwaukee Brewers, and coincidentally, they have the best record in baseball. Slow dribbler, throw to first, and that is 2 away. Lauren in the building, what's good? All right, we're at 90, 10 more to go to get to the goal. Let's go, baby. We got a mound visit now. Cal trying to settle Wu down. Next up is Junior Caminero. Can't give up a big home run, because if you do, then we're down 5-4. So hopefully Wu can get past some of the mistakes that he's made, in this outing, and we can finish strong. Yeah. And I kind of had a feeling that the trades were going to happen because that's like our number one trade partner, in the last 5 years. So with, Gino and Seawald and, other guys in the past, Ketel Marte. So you kind of knew that there was a good chance that after we got Naylor that they would make the deal happen. And, sometimes it's not just about the player being good and getting, farm guys in return. A lot of times it's just getting rid of the salary, and I don't think a lot of, the average fans don't realize that. They look at the return and say, what the hell did we do? But a lot of times it's based on not only that player's salary for this year, but the salary for future years. And again, sometimes people want to take that off the books, and they're willing to take less talent to be able to get that off the books. So 0-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes from Wu to Caminero. 0-2 pitch. Fouled off high and away. No balls and 2 strikes to Junior Caminero. And Junior is a good player. Obviously, not the same type of team without Randy Arozarena here. Obviously, with his great run in 2020. And the Rays would be much better if Wander Franco didn't have the scandal outside of baseball. If they had him, they would be in a much better position. And that is out number 3. There we go. Great job by Wu. We still got a 1-run lead. And let's see if we can add on to the Mariner lead and get a little bit of insurance. Nice throw to first and got him. Beautiful play. Naylor falling down and still getting the out. Great throw by J.P. Crawford. Huge out. Good chemistry between JP and Naylor. Nice job, JP. Next up for the Mariners, 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs. It's Gino, good vibes only, Eugenio Suarez. Next up, 0 for 2 with a K, a guy that's been, I don't want to say really slumping, but he's overdue for a home run or a big double. Second baseman Jorge Polanco. Come on, Polo. He's usually either playing second or DHing, but definitely hasn't really been in the same type of rhythm as he was in April when he was one of the best players in baseball, averaging 350 to 450 with 9 home runs in April. Definitely has been a little bit more quiet, since then, but doesn't mean that he can't get hot at some point again. But we definitely are looking for that bat to heat up at some point. And batting third, 0 for 1 with a base on ball and a K, Mitch Garver. You don't really expect anything out of Mitch Garver when he plays. You just hope that he can get a hit, and maybe get a walk and then just kind of go from there. It's not like Garver is going to get 2 or 3 hits or 4 hits often, And again, if you can get, 1 or 2 hits or a hit and get a walk or get plunked, that's going to be a productive day for a guy like Mitch Garver and his skill set. Same thing goes with like a Donovan Solano, and hell, we could only wish that Dylan Moore could get a hit, instead of going 0 for 4 or 0 for 5, but he doesn't start anymore. So obviously it's like 0 for 2 most of the time when they have him come in late in games, but don't really know why Dylan Moore and Carlos Vargas are still on the team, but here we are. Bottom of the 5th, 4-3 Mariner lead. Trident's up. Let's go M's. John with another tour. Appreciate you. Stacks. Rax with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Appreciate you. And hopefully that'll start a little dono train as well. Yeah, and like I said, Ben is a better defender than Gino. Gino used to be a top 10 defender at third, and his numbers have slightly gone down within the last year and a half defensively. Obviously, we know he can hit 30, 40, 50 home run type of player, Eugenio Suarez. But, I do feel bad for Ben, but at least, in AAA, he'll get the reps. And then you never know down the road, if Naylor or Gino are going to still be on this team or not. But definitely, I wish for Ben to have success, and hopefully he'll be able to get called back up and help the team out. And obviously he was a better defender than a hitter compared to like Cole Young, but again, you need reps, and hopefully the Tacoma Rainiers will, help him develop even further to be a better hitter. 2-1 pitch, fouled off, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Hauser to Suarez. 2-2 pitch, and popped up and flied out to the shortstop, and that is 1 away. Like, I would definitely have Ben over Dylan Moore. I'd rather have Leo Rivas over Dylan Moore. I mean, there's quite a few guys, that are in AAA. Harry Ford, as well. So it's like we got guys that could come up and help us produce, and they could play a different spot, even if that ends up being like a DH. And then we also have other guys that have been injured, like Luke Raleigh, Victor Robles. So, I mean, we got a pretty fucking deep team. There's only so many spots, Quite a bit different than what we were looking at the beginning of the year. First pitch from Hauser to Polo. Takes a strike looking high and away. 0-1 count. Bottom of the 5th inning, 4-3 Mariner lead. Mariners scored 4 in the first and have had nothing since. Let's pick it up. 1-1 pitch. Fouled off, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Hauser to Polo. And it's not like Adrian Hauser is some kind of fucking bum. He's 6-3 with a 2.54 ERA. So for us to get 4 runs and with Cal homering in that first inning was kind of shocking. But again, I'm happy that it happened. Otherwise, we may be down 3-0 at this point. 1-2 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jorge Polanco. Let's go, Polo. But it just feels pretty cool to say that we are World Series contenders for the first time in almost 25 years. And they got Garrett Clevenger, the lefty, warming up. So we assume that he'll be coming in shortly. 2-2 pitch. High and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Jorge Polanco. 6 more likes to get to a hundo. Let's get it, Jerry. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. 3-2 pitch. And Polo flies out to right. And that is 2 away. Next up, 0 for 1 with a base on ball and a K, Mitch Garver. And obviously when Robles comes back, that means Dominic Canzone ends up going to AAA, or they end up using him as a rotational guy as DH with Polo. And depending on how Dom plays, he might be more valuable at DH than Polo. It's kind of a, I think Polo is probably the stronger guy most of the time. But when Dom gets hot, if he gets in that like little hot streak, you could definitely swap, Dominic Canzone for Polo, and maybe we actually get better results with Dom at DH rather than Polo. Polo was really good at the beginning of the year. Then he kind of hit a wall. And then now every once in a while, he'll get a single or an RBI, but not very often, and we'll see what the Mariners decide to do at that point. And also with Luke Raley coming back, it's like, what are we going to do at DH? And they're pretty content, with Polo at DH this year, but if we end up bringing Robles back that takes Dom's spot in right field, then you have a decision to make, either Dom or Polo, and either one would be good, but I guess it just depends on whoever's playing better at the time. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Hauser to Garver. But also we've seen Dom struggle at times as well. So it's not like Dom is so much better than Polo in the box. And then again, defensively, both aren't really the greatest either. Both have holes in their game, defensively, so. 1-2 pitch, and Garver grounds out to the shortstop, throw to first, and that is out number 3. All right, end of the 5th inning. We're still stuck at this 4-3 score. And hopefully once Clevenger comes in, we can start raking against Hauser. Normally when a pitcher gives up 4 runs in the 1st inning, we keep continuing to, rake. But we haven't been able to get anything since the 1st inning. And, that's obviously due to Hauser, kind of locking in, which typically doesn't happen. But again, most guys aren't 6-3 with a 2.54 ERA either. End of the 5th, 4-3 Mariner lead. Let's see who's up next here for the Rays. Next up for the Rays, 1 for 2 with a run and a K, DHing Josh Lowe. Batting second, 0 for 2, catcher Hunter Fiducia. And batting third, having a great game today, 2 for 2 with a run and 2 RBIs, Ha-Seong Kim. Kim with a double to left, and Lowe scored, making it 4-1. And not only that, homered to left in the 4th to make it 4-3. So without Ha-Seong Kim, they would not even be this close. Maybe we're still up, 4-1 at this point if he wasn't playing. And it's crazy. He didn't even play in game number 1. And if they would have had Ha-Seong Kim play in game 1, maybe we wouldn't have come back and won that game. Oh, man. That's tough. Probably JP, but JP is really streaky. JP is a guy that can get like a 16-game hit streak in a row, right? And then he can end up going, 0 for 4, 0 for 5 for like 4 games in a row. But since, he ended that, hit streak ended, and then he was the leadoff hitter, right? And then they moved him, and then he's been much better. So sometimes you need a change of scenery. And that doesn't just mean getting traded to another team. Sometimes that means going from the 1 hole to the 8 hole or the 9 hole. And obviously when we had him at the leadoff spot, and then he got demoted to the 9 when Victor Robles came in, I know it hurt his ego a little bit. It was a little bruised, right? For being the man, the leadoff guy, and then being the 9 hole guy, which are looked at a little differently. But you can still be an effective piece to the team, right? And then now being in the 8 hole, it feels like that's the perfect spot for JP Crawford. So I think, even though JP is streaky, I think I trust him, maybe as of late, slightly more than Polo as of late. But again, that's a tough one. You just have to kind of look on who's playing better, in that particular stretch. Because obviously at the beginning of the year, Polo was one of the best players in baseball, batting 350 to 450, 9 homers in April, 384 average. But since then, it's been kind of a night and day difference. He hasn't really been as good. And again, JP can go from, 16 games in a row with a hit, or 0 for 4, 0 for 5, 3-4 games in a row. So, it kind of just depends. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and down goes Lowe, and that is 1 away. Next up, 0 for 2, catcher Hunter Fiducia. First pitch from Wu to Fiducia, fouls it off right down the middle. 0-1 count. Let's go, Wu. Finish strong. Can't have you give up any more runs. Got to keep it at 3. But I feel like as far as like right now, again, could Polo end up getting extremely hot late? He could, but again, with Naylor and Gino and Julio and Cal, I feel like sometimes, even guys like Garver, I feel a little bit more confident than Polo in the box lately. Like, even though Garver isn't really the most reliable guy, or like a Donovan Solano, but sometimes even those guys I have a little bit more faith in than Polo, at this point in the season. But I think I would slightly go JP over Polo at this point. But, hopefully Polo will put it together. But I think this JP is in a really good spot, in the 8th spot. So 2-1 pitch, fouled off high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Wu to Fiducia. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. You haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. We need 10 more subs to be able to get to 21,400. And on the dono train, we're at 12? 88 to go to hit the goal. And And I don't know where we're at on the likes, but hopefully we're close to 100. Two pitch. High and away. Count now was full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Wu to Fiducia. Looks like we're at 99. We got at least 80 people in the room that haven't hit the like button. There it is. We finally hit 100. Appreciate you. 3-2 pitch, and Fiducia flies out to left. That is 2 away. I mean, I watch everything, single A, high A, double A, triple A. Obviously, Harry Ford is probably the best player that's sitting there. Tyler Locklear was pretty good, but we ended up using him as one of the pieces to get, with the Naylor and the Geno trade back. So obviously Locklear is no longer available and he's in a different system now. But, definitely Harry Ford, would be one of those guys that you could definitely call up. But the problem is he plays catcher. And we already have, Cal Raleigh and then Mitch Garver, and they want to use Ford as a player every day. But unfortunately, when you got the best catcher in baseball, that's why Harry Ford's name was linked to be traded. But again, he's much better than Mitch Garver. And again, the only reason that they haven't called him up is that I think they want to use Garver based on his defense, not because of his bat. He's just familiar with the pitchers, and they don't want to screw up that chemistry that they've been building in 2025. But there definitely are a few guys like Leo Ribas that has been up and down with the lineup that you could, trade for, like Dylan Moore and, some of the other guys that have been struggling. And you still got Ben Williamson that just got sent down. But, we're kind of in a log jam, in certain positions where you have guys that are better, Geno and Cal, instead of Williamson and Harry Ford. 3-0 pitch, and Ha-Seong Kim on a 4-pitch walk. I guess that's better than giving up a home run. Come on, Wu. Wu's at 94. You may have to pull him here. And Vargas is warming up. I don't know if I like that. Next up is right fielder Jake Mangum. Top of the 6th, 4-3 Mariner lead. We only need one more out. But again, we're going to get a mound visit by Woodworth, and hopefully he'll be able to give words of encouragement so Wu and Cal can call the perfect pitch. We don't need to get a double play. We just need a force out at second, pop up, ground out. We don't even need a strikeout by Wu. Just need to be able to make sure he doesn't give up an RBI or a home run here. But I really like Harry Ford a lot. The guy, he could be our DH, and that would probably even be better than what we're having out of Polo, and whatnot. But again, it's, they're just trying to develop the guys at the right time. But we got Durangelo, who can pitch from the left and the right, and that was our draft pick last year. We're going to have to wait a few years, but at some point, he'll be in the starting 5 with Cade Anderson, who just won a natty with LSU and was the best player in the draft, and we got him at pick number 3. So, again, we may see Cade Anderson next year. But again, Harry Ford, as far as positional players, him and obviously Leo Ribas and then Ben Williamson, those are probably going to be the top guys for now. But then you also have Lazaro Montes and Colt Emerson, who might end up taking over for JP one day. So again, it's like we have a lot of young guys that in the next few years, the team is going to look a little different. It'll be a nice blend of young and OGs. But again, there will be some guys that get replaced, and I know for some fans it'll hurt a little bit, but if the player that's coming in is better, then, it's going to help the team overall. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, low and at the knees. No balls and 2 strikes from Wu to Mangum. One more strike. Come on, baby. 0-2 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 2 outs. Let's finish strong here, Wu. Now he's just trying to catch his breath, and him and Cal to get on the same page here. But I've been, I've been following the farm pretty heavy, the last 5-6 years, especially with all the good players that we've been acquiring through the draft, in these, kind of new era of the Seattle Mariners. And again, it's very likely, that we're going to make a World Series run, not only this year, but for maybe a few years. Top of the 6th, 4-3 Mariner lead. We got a runner at first. Wu just trying to get this last strike so he can end up finishing this outing by only giving up 3, and I believe he will. 0-2 pitch, And big swing and a miss. Great job by Brian Wu, even though he got himself in a little bit of a jam, with that walk on that previous batter, but a beautiful pitch, and Mangum has no answer. There we go. Great job by Brian Wu, bringing that electricity, my guy. And then let's look at Brian Wu's final line, and hopefully Carlos Vargas doesn't fuck it all up. 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, which is a little high, 3 earned runs, only 1 walk, and 9 fucking Ks by Brian Wu. Great job. 99 pitches, 74 strikes, 3.08 ERA, and hopefully in another start or 2, he'll be under 3 for his ERA. Great job by Wu. I mean, obviously you would love for him not to give up those 3 runs, but 9 Ks, you can't get mad at that. And now we need to add on at least another run or 2 to feel comfortable, because I don't feel comfortable with a 1-run lead. Not against this team, not against any team. 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits, but I think the only way I'll feel really comfortable is if we get to 6. 6, I think, would give me a little bit of comfort. But again, all it takes is one meltdown by a Carlos Vargas, where we've had a 3-1 lead late, and he's given up 3 runs, and we've lost 4-3 multiple times. So, we don't really know what we're getting out of Vargas. He doesn't strike guys out. He's really wild. Wild pitches. He hits guys. And again, in game 1, he was able to retire the side. So every once in a blue moon, Vargas will do well and not give up any runs or, maybe a hit, but no one scores. But there's also times where he's absolutely terrible. And I feel like right now, Dylan Moore is the worst player on the team, but Carlos Vargas is right there with him. And again, you have to kind of, watch it with caution, and again, it could be good, but you also have to kind of hold your breath. So we'll see where it goes. See who's up next here for the Mariners, and hopefully we can get a little bit of magic. Next up, in the bottom of the 6th, with a 4-3 lead, Dominic Canzone. Batting second, ice water in his veins, J.P. Crawford. And batting third, back at the top of the order, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Still looking for that first home run against his former team. Now Clevenger is in. Hasn't allowed a run in his last 11 games. Oh my. And 0-1 pitch. Grounds out to second, throw to first, and that is 1 away. Next up is J.P. Crawford. First pitch from Clevenger to Crawford. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Clevenger to Crawford. Let's go, JP. Bring that swagger and that aura, baby. Let's go. 1-1 pitch, low and away with the sinker. 2 balls and 1 strike from Clevenger to Crawford. Bottom of the 6th, 4-3 Mariner lead. Let him know. 16 more to get to 125. Let's get there. 3-1 pitch. Fouled off right down the middle. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Clevenger to Crawford. Come on, JP. Three-two pitch, and good eye by J.P. Crawford, and forces a walk. My boy, there we go. Now we got a runner at first. Let's see if Randy can end up getting that magical play, either a single, double, or a big home run to get us to 6. And again, he's been able to get singles pretty much in every game so far, but we haven't been able to get that big double, the big triple, or the one that we're really looking for is the big home run against his former team. We're waiting, Randy. I mean, you're running out of at-bats. You might have, maybe 2 more at-bats if you're lucky, depending on how far we get into the batting order. First pitch, and Randy in play. Grounds out to the fielder's choice. Crawford is out at second, and that is 2 away. Come on, Randy. You got to work the count a little bit, my guy. That is not what I was expecting. All right, next up is big dumper Cal Raleigh. Ended up making history with a big blast early in the first inning, tying Johnny Bench for number 2 overall in MLB history with 45 home runs. The record is 48 by Salvador Perez. Could we get another home run by Cal? He has homered in 3 consecutive games, but could we get a multi-homer game? And again, he's right there with Mickey Mantle, with multi-homer games. Anytime you can get 7 or 8 multi-homer games in a season, you're in rare air. But by the time the season is over, I assume Cal will be at like 10 or higher. He's that good. 2 from the left, 2 from the right, or 1 from the left and 1 from the right, depending on the pitcher. First pitch from Clevenger to big dumper. Takes a strike swinging right down the middle, and he's got a bat from the right side since Clevenger is a lefty. So it's going to make it a little bit harder, but we know Cal can do it. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, low and at the hips. No balls and 2 strikes from Clevenger to big dumper. Bottom of the 6th, 4-3 Mariner lead with a runner at first and 2 outs. Big dumper in the box, Clevenger on the mound. Yeah, there's so many, back in the day, pitchers would pitch a, first pitch strike right down the middle to get ahead of the count, just hoping that the player would foul it off or just take the strike, But again, now, a lot of pitchers pitch garbage on the first pitch, low and away, high and away, or inside to try to get that hitter to jam. And, it's pretty effective. And you're still going to get some old school guys that will throw right down the middle. But if you're not careful, that first pitch right down the middle may lead to a home run. And that's usually what Julio is looking for. Uh-oh, now we got runners in between the base paths. Randy getting thrown out on the base paths twice this series. What the fuck are you doing, Randy? You tried to do a running gun in game 1 and got fucking slid into first base, right? And then tried to go back off a foul ball at first base and then was out and then gets out there again. Unexcusable, dude. You know what I mean? This is a game where we're trying to fucking win. What are you doing? No fucking awareness on the base paths. And again, we've seen Julio, kind of do the same type of shit early in the season, but not lately. And now Randy doing it twice against his former team. Come on, my guy. Brutal. Way to kill all the Uncle Mo and the momentum. End of the 6th, and we're still up 1. Let's see who's up next here for the Rays. It's like essentially the walk or the single you got is for nothing when you get thrown out in between the base paths. Like, have some fucking awareness. See who's up next here for the Tampa Bay Rays. Ferguson is coming in for Wu, and Ferguson gave up that big blast yesterday. Hopefully that's the right choice. Next up, center fielder in the 9-hole. Got called up recently from the Durham Bulls, AAA affiliate, Tristan Peters. Batting second at the top of the order with a double and triple. Very productive day, left fielder Chandler Simpson. And batting third, first baseman Yandy Diaz. But again, just the lack of hustle in left field and then getting thrown out in the base paths, it's not ideal. I don't think it's a short-sighted fan take. When you're on base, you're not supposed to be thrown out. Again, if you're sliding into second and it's like a bang-bang play and you get thrown out, fine, we can handle that. But not in between the base paths, and not when you end up having a foul ball that gets, by the first baseman and you're already sliding into second base, and when it's early in the game, So again, Randy doesn't really have the hustle in left field and obviously not a lot of awareness, and then ended up hurting himself. Again, you need to be better. You're not the best player on the team, but you're definitely an important role player. and again, those are unexcusable things when we're trying to be World Series contenders. Now, if Randy is still on the Tampa Bay Rays, then fine, he can do that over there, but not here in Seattle. Now we've got Christopher Morel, the former Cub, pinch hitting. First pitch takes a strike looking. 0-1 count. We got Caleb Ferguson in as well, so let me get some new photos here dropped. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Christopher Morel. Two 2-1 pitch, high and away. 3 balls and 1 strike to Christopher Morel. Caleb Ferguson on the mound, Morel in the box. 3-1 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Ferguson to Morel. Top of the 7th inning, 4-3 Mariner lead. 3-2 pitch, and that is strike 3 looking. Down goes Christopher Morel, 1 away. Next up for Caleb Ferguson, back at the top of the order, left fielder Chandler Simpson. 2 for 3 with a run with a double and a triple, and hopefully he doesn't get that here. First pitch from Ferguson to Simpson, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, fouled off high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike from Ferguson to Simpson. I mean, I appreciate what Randy does for the team, but if I had to choose between Victor Robles and Randy Arozarena, I go Victor 100% of the time. He hustles, has good vibes, and he makes everyone around him better. And again, he obviously got hurt, in that Giant series at the beginning of the year because, he's going to sacrifice his body to try to get the outs. Randy only wishes he could do something like that, And again, I love the hits and the RBIs and the home runs and usually the vibes that he has with Julio. But, I'm going Robles over Randy, 100% of the time. 1-1 pitch in play, and Simpson grounds out, throw to first, and that is 2 away. Next up, in the 2-hole, 1 for 3, RBI and a K, first baseman Yandy Diaz. First pitch from Caleb Ferguson to Diaz, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. I mean, Randy's better than Polo and some of the other guys on the team, but nothing irks me more, as kind of like a pet peeve is hustle, and even guys like Luke Raleigh, nowhere near the talent some of the other guys on the team, but at least I know that he's going to run hard to first every time. I know he's going to hustle every time, and again, that definitely means something. 0-1 pitch, and Diaz grounds out to the pitcher, a little flip, and that is out number 3. Good job by Ferguson not giving up a big home run in this particular matchup. Let's go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and the Mariners hanging on with a 1-run lead, and we need to add on to it. Next up for the Mariners, 2 for 2 with a run, Julio Rodriguez. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Batting second, 0 for 1 with a run and a base on ball, Josh Naylor. And batting third, 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs, good vibes only, Eugenio Suarez. Let's go, Gino. 4-3 Mariner lead. We got to get this dub. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. And I think like the average Mariner fan, or the average baseball fan may not notice, all those little subtle details, but for me, I'm doing like every game, every pitch, beginning to end. So there is no point for him to hide, his lack of, enthusiasm or hustle. It's like when you see a ball hit in left field and the camera pans over there and you see him jogging. And I can't tell you how many times that if he would have ran hard, he would have been able to keep guys with a single and prevented a double happening or prevented a triple happening that should have been a double. There's been a lot of guys, since he's been in left field that have been able to get that extra base that has turned into a home run or an RBI in the next batter. If he would have just hustled, and had a good throw, he would have been able to hold those guys off to singles and doubles instead of doubles and triples, and again, I like what he does overall in the box. He can get singles, doubles, triples, home runs, but again, on the base paths and definitely defense, it could be a little bit better. But again, we've also seen guys like Julio, early in the year get caught in between the base paths, kind of daydreaming out there and not really paying attention, maybe thinking about after the game or whatever, but I don't think I've seen anyone lack hustle on the Mariners as much as Randy in my lifetime. I don't think I've ever seen anybody on that level. And it's crazy because it's not like he's a shitty player. He's a good player. So that's what makes it so weird. Like, to see a good quality player, who was great in 2020 for the Rays, and he's been good for us, but I've never seen someone that's been so good in the box, so lazy in the outfield, Like maybe they need to have Randy DH, and we need to get someone better in left field, Maybe that would help our team get better, and maybe that's what we'll do at some point. Maybe we can put Victor Robles in left, and then maybe eventually down the road when Lazaro Montes is ready, we can put him in right. And then that way we can have Robles and then Julio and Lazaro Montes in the outfield, and Randy can just be DH, Because again, he's not doing us any favors defensively. I mean, every once in a while he'll make a great play, but, it could be better. First pitch from Baker to Cal Raleigh. Fouls it off right down the middle, 0-1 count. Yeah, I don't think they updated the lineup there. I just have to go based on what MLB.com or ESPN has, and sometimes they don't update, so. Usually it happens at least once a game. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss for Cal. No balls and 2 strikes. To big dumper Cal Raleigh. 0-2 pitch in play, and Raleigh grounds out to second, throw to first, and that is 1 away. Obviously, Randy getting thrown out when Cal was still at bat. That makes sense. All right, next up is Julio Rodriguez. First pitch, high and inside by Baker. Four-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour, almost hits Julio. 1-0 count. Trident's up. Let's go, J-Rod. Yeah, Lazaro Montes, when he's ready, he could be the right field guy. Now, I don't know how good Victor Robles would do in left field. Obviously, when you have a guy that plays left or right or center, that's usually, their spot. And you will see guys go from center to left or center to right. Usually center field to right field or center field to DH, kind of like Aaron Judge, or like Mike Trout when you get older. You're center field, you're an all-star, then you get hurt, you get old, and then maybe you DH or whatnot. But, we'll see where it goes. We definitely have the depth, but it'll be a few years. 2-1 pitch, fouls it off high and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Baker to Julio. And again, we're up a 1. We could still win by 1, but I don't feel comfortable right now. 2-2 pitch and takes strike 3 looking, and that is 2 away. But if Randy was our DH, he would be more productive than Polo or Dominic Canzone or Garver or Solano or whoever else they put in there, right? So, but again, that might, that might end up taking Randy's numbers down, though, because he might get depressed that he's not like actually playing out there as a two-way player. But again, you have to be an asset, in the outfield, not a liability. So First pitch from Baker to Naylor, fouls it off, low and away, 0-1 count. Like if I was the coach, and whatnot, I would be showing Randy on film. What the fuck is this? What is this fucking effort, Because again, if he actually saw himself on tape being so lazy, I guarantee he wouldn't do it again. And I highly guarantee they've never showed him the tape. They just kind of go through the plane trip and, on to the next game. But if I had that iPad and I was on the fucking plane, I'd be like, what the fuck is this? You're like, this is a triple. That should have been a double, and like, if you end up calling him out, maybe that would be the thing that makes him change. Why are you so fucking lazy in left field? Why are you entitled? Just because you're a pro player playing with Julio in center and Victor in right when he's healthy? Like, man up, play better, 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking, right down the middle, 1 ball and 2 strikes from Baker to Naylor. And it's, not to be a hater, it's just, tough love. You want him to be a better player to help us win. The last thing that we need is Randy to, give up a big triple late when it could have been a double, and then we end up losing a series to the Blue Jays or the Astros or the Tigers, and we don't make the World Series. We don't win the division. We don't make the ALDS or ALCS, I hope it doesn't have to come to something like that, for him to realize that you're not doing your job. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees, 2 balls and 2 strikes from Baker to Naylor. We just want to have the best players, put the best effort. 2-2 pitch, in play. Here we go. Naylor, back, see ya! And Naylor comes up with the big play that we needed. Let's fucking go. Josh Naylor, homer to right, 360 feet, and that gives us the 5-3 lead that we needed. Line drive home run, my boy, Josh Naylor. Let's fucking go. Let's go. And that's the insurance that we needed. And I'm not talking Geico. Let's fucking go. Let's see if we can get one more before this game is up. First pitch from Baker to Gino. High and away. 4-seam fastball, 98 miles an hour, missing the strike zone by inches. 1-0 count. Let's go, Gino. 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike from Baker to Gino. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. And again, it's so important to be able to have a good home run hitting player at first and third, which we were lacking before we had Gino and Ty France a couple years ago. But now we have, obviously, Naylor and Gino. And Naylor is a little bit more consistent in the box than Gino, right? But again, you never know when that big splash play can happen, from Eugenio Suarez. But really, for him, it's just vibes, bringing those good vibes back, with the former teammates. And again, both of them being on the Diamondbacks, both being teammates, one being a former player, it's all coming together. 2-1 pitch, high and away. Count now is 3 balls and 1 strike from Baker to Gino. Bottom of the 7th inning, 5-3 Mariner lead with a big solo dinger by Naylor. And again, Naylor is the best first baseman we've had since Ty France, and I honestly think he's better. He's stealing bags on a rapid pace. And down goes Gino, and that is out number 3. But you also have to remember, after we let Gino and, we ended up having him go to the Diamondbacks, if you go back and look at his stats, from a few years back, he was on the brink of getting cut. His numbers were very, very low in like the hundreds. And then he had to work with some of the batting coaches, and he changed his batting stance from up high and then, kind of resting the bat on his shoulder. And then once he made some minor adjustments, then he took off. And then obviously, has had the monster first half, of this year, right? But he was on the brink of, possibly getting cut or traded or, going to AAA, and, had to really have a heart-to-heart with the coaches and, the batting coaches and himself, and was able to kind of turn his career around. But it's not like Gino has been lights out ever since we let him go to the Diamondbacks. I mean, he's had some peaks and valleys, but, again, he's not going to be as consistent game in and game out as Josh Naylor, but I'm really happy he's here. And again, it's at least that we have 2 guys now at first and third at any given at bat that can get an RBI or a home run. And not to say that, Rowdy Tellez and Ben Williamson, or Donovan Solano and Ben Williamson couldn't, But again, those guys are okay, but it's better to upgrade the position, and that's exactly what we did. End of the 7th inning, 5-3 Mariner lead. Let's see who's up next here for the Tampa Bay Rays. I see you, Josh. You the man, baby. Way to bring that electricity. 5-3 M's. Next up in the 3-hole, 0 for 3 with a K, second baseman Brandon Lowe, who DH'd in the first 2 games and homered in game 1 and game 2. No homers yet in game number 3, and hopefully he doesn't. Batting second, third baseman on deck, Junior Caminero, the best player, and batting third, DHing in the 5-hole, no relation, Josh Lowe. First pitch from Ferguson to Lowe. Cutter, low and away, 1-0 count. Ferguson is still in there. And hopefully he doesn't give up that big blast like he did yesterday. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike swinging, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Ferguson to Lowe. One pitch, takes a strike looking low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Ferguson to Lowe. And I went and looked at road records this morning, to kind of compare all the good teams and all the mid teams and the bad teams. There really is only one good team in baseball on the road, and that's the Milwaukee Brewers. Coincidentally, they have the best record in baseball, but they're 10 games above 500. But there's a lot of, good, solid teams that have a below 500 record at road games. And again, or maybe a couple games above 500, but not a lot. Most of them are right at 500, a game or 2 above, or a couple games below. There's not really that many that are, 8, 9, 10 games and have that solid record. And obviously the Brew Crew have figured out how to win on the road, but no one else really has, as far as consistently. 1-2 pitch, and big swing and a miss. Down goes Low on strikes. I love that. Nice job by Caleb Ferguson, bringing that electricity. I see you. That crafty lefty from the Pirates, 1 away. Next up, third baseman, Junior Caminero, 0 for 3 with a K, who's hit us with some homers, obviously, in the series. Don't get any ideas here. First pitch, takes a big swing and a miss right down the middle, 0-1 count. Oh-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Ferguson to Caminero. Top of the 8th, we have a 2-run lead, and it feels a little bit more comfortable than just being at 4-3, but I still would love to get 1 more dinger or 1 more RBI to get us to 6 if we can get there. 1-1 pitch, fouled off, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Ferguson to Caminero, and hopefully, we can end up re-signing Naylor and Gino long-term. And again, Naylor also has given us something that France could never give us, stealing bags on a rapid pace. And it's not like he was a very good, base stealer, when he was on the Guardians and then the Diamondbacks. But for whatever reason, he's got great baseball IQ lately, and he's been very, very good. I wish Randy would get the notes. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees with the slurve ball, slider curve, which is a little bit more of a popular pitch that we've seen in the last 2 years. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Ferguson to Caminero. Two pitch. In play, and Caminero with a single to left. Great player, Junior Caminero. Runner-up in the home run derby against Cal Raleigh, if that name seems familiar. Next up, DHing Josh Lowe. 1 for 3 with a run and 2 Ks. Top of the 8th with a runner at first and 1 out, 5-3 lead, and we've already won the series, but we're looking for the sweep. Yeah, I mean, I think it really comes down to okay, who's the better player? Overall, it's Josh Naylor, right? But who's going to give better vibes, overall with the club? regardless on results, it would be Gino. So again, and Gino's a little bit older as well. So obviously, if I had to choose, I would definitely be going with Naylor first, even though I love Gino, but again, he's just not as consistent, in the box. It's like either home run or strikeout, and his defense hasn't been as good as it was when he was on the Mariners, when he was considered a top 10 defender, and obviously a guy that could get 30, 40, 50 home runs. And I appreciate the home runs, that he can get, right? But also he was getting those not in Seattle. You're getting them in Arizona. Obviously a little bit easier to hit home runs there than it is at T-Mobile. But I love the vibes and the energy that he brings to the team, but I think I would have to agree with you. I think I would have to go Naylor is, as far as what Naylor brings day in and day out, he's going to give you more stolen bags. He's going to get on base more, and he's probably going to get you more home runs, from here on out than Gino. Gino, it feels like Gino will get a home run once every 5 to 10 games. And with Naylor, it feels like he'll get one maybe every 4 to 7 games. It's like the pace is a little bit faster. And also he's able to get you more, contributions with stolen bags, moving runners over. And also he's a better defender at first base as well. So I think if you're looking at the total package, and based off age also, I think I would go with Naylor if you had to choose between one or the two, just because Gino is getting a little bit up there in age. And we love that home run bat, but it's more than just getting home runs that makes a good baseball player. 1-2 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Ferguson to Lowe. But I would love to be able to keep both, but again, that might be a big ask, And obviously we have Ben Williamson there at third. If he can improve his batting, obviously he'll never be Gino home run wise, but if he can be a more consistent hitter, we're not going to be losing as much. And he's a hell of a lot better of a defender than Gino at third. Williamson, he definitely has that rocket arm and good awareness. He doesn't really fuck up too often. But again, the vibes are a whole nother story. And obviously Gino coming to the team, it kind of raises everyone's belief that we're going to win just based on his presence in the dugout. 1-2 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Ferguson to Lowe. Top of the 8th with a runner at first and 1 out. We got a 2-run lead, 5-3 Mariners. 2-2 pitch, fouled off, high and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Ferguson to Lowe. But again, if you're a casual watcher, maybe people would say, Gino, look what he does. Look at his home runs. You see all these people on the internet, talking shit, based off just home run numbers or thinking Cal's on fucking PEDs. Like, have you ever seen Cal with his shirt off? He's got a beer gut. It's not like he's got an 8-pack or a 6-pack. Like, haters will always come to a negative conclusion when it doesn't favor their favorite player. Yankee fans hate Cal because they just want Aaron Judge to get all the love. But it's okay if someone else gets an AL MVP, other than Aaron Judge, or someone other than Shohei Ohtani once in a while. We already know those two guys are amazing players, but sometimes you got to spread the wealth, right? It's good for the game. More eyeballs on our product, not only for Cal, but for the Mariners and baseball in general. 3-2 pitch, fouled off. Count still is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Ferguson to Lowe. 3-2 pitch, low and away, fouled off again. 10th pitch in this at bat. I don't think we're going to get to 17 like we did with JP, but who knows? 3-2 pitch, and pitch number 11 with the slurve ball ends up being a walk. And now we got runners at first and second with 1 out. I'd pull him. I appreciate that. I put a lot of time and energy, not only with the broadcast, but I got to, produce the show on the fly. I got to do play-by-play, and I got to do color. I'm doing the thumbnail. I do a lot of research, outside of the streams. Usually I read about 3-4 hours a day, watch film, and it's not just Mariners. I follow the whole league, and not only baseball, basketball, hockey, football, college football, NASCAR Cup Series, the trucks, Xfinity, WWE, AEW. Like, I don't think people really realize there's a lot of streamers out there that do just one thing. There's not very many that have the talent or the dedication to do like everything and actually know what they're talking about and have that talent, hard work, and passion to do what they do. So I feel like there's a lot of people that will do 1 or 2 things, not a lot that can do anything. And I feel like we're the most versatile channel for sports and wrestling on YouTube. Just a lot of people don't know it yet. Well, 1 pitch, fouled off, high and away. No balls and 2 strikes from Ferguson to Fiducia. Runners at first and second with 1 out, and we need a double play bad. And again, we got to be very careful here, because if we get the bases loaded, this game could be tied in a heartbeat. 0-2 pitch, fouled off, low and away. No balls and 2 strikes from Ferguson to Fiducia. And I don't even really know why we have Ferguson out there. I mean, I know we got the day off tomorrow, so it's like you could have put in Brash or Bizzardo, you know. You could have. Spire, you know. Did you really need to go with Ferguson here, you know? And I know some guys need rest, but again, we got the day off tomorrow, and then we're on a road trip. So hopefully Ferguson can get out of the jam, but not ideal to have runners at first and second with 1 out. 0-2 pitch, fouled off, high and away. Cutter missing the strike zone, but fouled off. No balls, 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 1 out. 5-3 Mariner lead. Yeah, but the thing is, it's easier said than done when it comes to salary, you know, and being able to make sure that you got everyone. And also you have to look at the age and the numbers, you know, and again, it's not like the Mariners are known for being a team that, you know, spends a lot of money. You know, we're pretty cheap, you know, against, you know, a lot of the other teams. And only within the last 2 years, you know, we've made good moves at the deadline. But, you know, during free agency, they brought in guys like Donovan Solano, Miles Mastroboni, Mitch Garver, and Jorge Polanco. Other than Polanco, those are kind of garbage pickups. Mastroboni has been pretty good off the bench, but overall, that's not the guys that we should have brought in. We should have brought in guys for the bullpen and then called guys up from the farm. That would have been smarter, you know, but again, you know, they're kind of learning on the fly. And at least they've been able to make good moves at the deadline. Randy last year, and then Naylor and Gino this year. But again, you know, we have something special. But again, you know, there's more factors than just the obvious, especially when it comes to management and ownership. And Fiducia flies out to center. Thank God. That is 2 away. All right, now we have to go to Ha-Seong Kim, the hottest hitter today. And hopefully he doesn't hit a 3-run blast or we're fucked. 2 for 2 with a run, 2 RBIs, and he's got a big dinger earlier in the game. Can't let that happen again. 5-3 Mariner lead here in the top of the 8th with runners at first and second. Again, I don't know if we're going to get a punch out on Kim, but if we can get a pop-up or a ground out, that would be fantastic. And down goes Ferguson. He's done. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. 241 in the room. We should be easily at 150 or 175 on the likes. So if you are in the room and haven't hit that like button, we have at least 100 people in the room that haven't done it. 125 people that haven't hit the like button. Do your boy a solid. No one is going to work harder in doing baseball streams on YouTube than me, period. Especially when we're doing pretty much every game. No one produces the show the same way as well. And we gained 5 more subs. Appreciate that. 5 more subs to hit the goal. We needed 18 today to hit 21,400. We got 5 to go. So if you're one of those 248 people and haven't hit that like button yet or sub, do your boy a solid and help your boy out. Top of the 8th, 5-3 Mariner lead with Ha-Seong Kim in the box. And then we're going to bring in Carlos Vargas. Oh, God. Really? Like they're really pushing it right now, bringing in some shitty players. And again, we've had the same kind of scenario where we've been up like 3-1. We bring in Vargas, he gives up 3 runs, and we lose 4-3. That's happened more than once. Now, similar scenario. Runners at first and second, 2 outs, 5-3 lead. And if he gives up the home run and we go down 6-5, we're probably going to lose. I mean, there's a chance that we could tie it up and, you know, take the lead and win in extras, you know, but momentum is everything, especially late in the matchup. And Kim has already homered once. So we got to pray that Vargas can get him to swing at a garbage pitch, and then we can have him pop up or ground out, which I think there could be a possibility. You know, Vargas is not a strikeout pitcher. You know, he's kind of wild. So we'll see where it goes. Got another sub, 4 to go to hit the goal. Since he's a right-hand hitter, probably hitting a dribbler towards second base or third base or in between is probably the most likely scenario. But again, you never know. I mean, hell, if they hit it right to Naylor, good. But we need a fucking out bad. But I definitely wouldn't have gone with Vargas with the game on the line. Joseph with a 20. Appreciate you. Stacks. Rax with the little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Thank you so much for your support. Appreciate you very, very much. Let me know if there's a photo of a favorite player that you have, and I got you. First pitch from Vargas to Kim. Low and at the knees. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike from Vargas to Kim. And you have to understand, Vargas is the worst player on the team, not named Dylan Moore. So this is definitely going to be a hold your breath moment. 1-1 pitch. In play. Grounds out to JP. And there it is. Throw to first. And that is the end of the inning. Thank God. And just like I mentioned, hitting it between second and third just a few minutes ago. What happened? He hit it right in between second and third. ESP on point, baby. Let's go. And that is a beautiful outing, for Vargas. And again, he played in game 1 and retired the side. So for as bad as Vargas has been this year in this particular series, he was able to get 4 outs and not give up a hit or a big home run. So we can hold our breath a little, but still the game isn't over just yet. 5-3 Mariners. Let's see if we can end up getting 1 more run for a little bit of insurance. Next up for the Mariners, a guy that has been on a little bit of a mini slump. 0 for 3 with a K, Jorge Polanco. Come on, Polo. Batting second, catcher in the 7-hole, Mitch Garver. And batting third, right fielder, Dominic Canzone. And when you have players like Mitch Garver and Donovan Solano, where you don't normally have a whole lot of faith in them in the box, but you have more faith in them than Polo, then Polo is struggling. Because normally he's going to be much better than Solano and Garver, but Solano and Garver aren't going to get you a bunch. But, again, it seems like they've been seeing the ball a little bit clearer and a little bit better than, Polo lately. And I don't expect Polo to be the, 350 to 450 hitter with 9 home runs in April like he was earlier in the year. But definitely he's too good to be sitting at 0 for 3 or 0 for 4. Because if you're going to be, doing that at DH or second base, what are we doing? Like, why are you even playing? We should be playing somebody else, if you're not going to be productive. And it's not like Polo is a very good defender either. They initially wanted him to play third base this year, but he's got a noodle arm, and he wasn't very good at second base either. So, again, if he's going to DH, you got to hit. If you're going to be playing every day at second base, you got to make sure that you're doing your job. And again, when we end up having Colt Emerson, that'll be someone that ends up, taking a spot. Either at second base or shortstop. He can play both positions, but again, he's not ready just yet. Bottom of the 8th, 5-3, Seattle lead. First pitch to Polo, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle, no balls and 2 strikes to Jorge Polanco. And it seems like Polo is getting into those 0-2 counts like Julio was at the beginning of the year, and that's a big part of him struggling, I believe. Hard to be able to get a hit on an 0-2 count unless, you're Rod Carew. Unless you're Pete Rose, Charlie Hustle, unless you're Ichiro or Tony Gwynn, then you can get a hit off an 0-2 count. But if you're not one of those guys, it's not going to be as easy. I got you. One-two pitch, and there we go. Polo finally getting a hit today. Nice job. He heard the criticism, and he said, you know what? Yeah, it is time for me to get a hit. There you go. Nice job, Polo. Finally, it might have been a slow dribbler with no effort by the defense, but who cares? That's on the defense to let him have a single, but we'll take anything that we can get, even if that's due to lack of effort by the Rays. There we go. First pitch. Set that to Garver. High and away, 1-0 count. Go, Mitch. One-0 pitch. high and away with the cutter. 2 balls and no strikes to Mitch Garver. Bottom of the 8th with a runner at first and no outs. And again, I want 6. 7 would be great, but let's see if we can get to 6 runs before this game is up. Yeah, and again, I haven't got a chance to meet too many famous people in my life, but I did get a chance to meet Joseph, Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. at the same time, when Griffey was a rookie in '89 and I was 7. And I have pictures, here in the studio with Senior and with Junior, and obviously Sandy Koufax when I was 10. So to be able to meet the best left-handed hitter with no steroids and arguably the best left-handed pitcher, not named Randy Johnson or Steve Carlton, and Sandy Koufax, who was my dad's hero, and then obviously got to meet my hero, which I have 2, my dad and Ken Griffey Jr. So pretty special moment. And if I didn't meet Griffey or Koufax, who knows if I'm even here today? Maybe I'm a video game streamer instead or something of that nature. 3-0 pitch, and that is a 4-pitch walk to Mitch Garver. Here we go. I like this. Polo feeling the pressure, based on him not being able to do his job, him getting a hit. Even though it was a weak one with no effort by the Rays defense, which was kind of wild. And Garver with a 4-pitch walk. We'll take that. Next up, 1 for 3, right fielder Dominic Canzone. Is it time for a Dom bomb and we get to 8? Could happen. Let's go, baby. Let him know, Jerry. Let him know, Captain. Keep him honest. First pitch from Setta to Canzone. Takes a strike looking high and away, 0-1 count. Based on the people in the room, we should be able to get to 150 to 175. And I appreciate people like Captain Jerry and others that are regulars in the room letting people know in the chat. Very important. And here we go. Coming home safe. Here we go. Dominic Canzone, he doesn't get the big home run, but he gets a big RBI into right field. Polo scores. Garver to second. I ask for 6. I get 6. Bang. Let's go, baby. And now we got JP Crawford. Let's get to 7. Hell, let's get to 10. We still got time now. Let's go. Oh, that's awesome, dude. But here's me and Ken Griffey Jr. and my dad autographing the rated rookie Donruss card that he is autographing in the photo, and he took the time to sign his whole name, which really meant everything to me, considering autographs are so sloppy nowadays. And then when I was 10, I got to meet Sandy Koufax, and my dad never smiles in photos. This might be the only photo that my dad has ever smiled in. And again, when you end up meeting someone like Sandy Koufax, I could see why. Bottom of the 8th, 6-3 Mariner lead. We've already won the series, but we're looking for the sweep. And hopefully we can add on a few more runs here late in the 8th and the 9th. Take no prisoners, baby. Let's go. We got a 1-2 count to JP here. Come on, JP. And a little mound visit. 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. And that is strike 3. Down goes JP. That's unfortunate. Really hoping for another RBI or an unexpected home run. All right, Randy, you're running out of time. Could you finally get a home run against your former team? This is your final at bat. First pitch. Mosetta to Randy Arozarena. High and away. 1-0 count. I mean, he's been able to get singles in every single game in the series, but lack of effort, of hustle in left field has not been ideal. And being able to get tossed out in the base paths twice this series, he needs to make up for it. And again, how do you make up for it? You get a big 3-run blast right here, and we go up 9-6, or 9-3, excuse me. Bottom of the 8th, runners at first and second with 1 out. I mean, I'll take an RBI as well. I mean, I guess if we can't get the home run against his former team, so be it. But, if we can get him on base, that would be nice. Two-one pitch. High and inside. 3 balls and 1 strike. to Randy Arozarena. 3-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. Count now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 1 out. 6-3 Mariner lead, but we want more. Three-two pitch, and Arozarena with a rare strikeout swinging, but there it is, 2 away. All right, well, we got 2 guys here up next. If we can get to Julio that we know that can get the job done. Next up is Big Dumper Cal Raleigh, on deck Julio Rodriguez. One of the best dynamic duos in baseball this year and moving forward. First pitch from Musetta to Raleigh. Mitches the strike zone by 10 feet. 1-0 count. Come on, Cal. He's already at 45 home runs, which is tied for second all-time to Johnny Bench in 1970. He hits a home run here. We end up going 9-3, and he ends up being in second place by himself with home run number 46. Record is 48 by Salvador Perez. He's creeping. 1-0 pitch, fouls it off, high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Big Dumper Cal Raleigh. Come on, Cal. One pitch. Big swing and a miss, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Big Dumper Cal Raleigh. We'll take singles. We'll take doubles. But we're looking for this. Home run number 46. Bottom of the 8th, runners at first and second with 2 outs. Mariners with a 6-3 lead. Big Dumper in the box. 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss, and down goes Big Dumper. And that is the end of the 8th inning for the Seattle Mariners. But we do end up gaining a run, which is nice. So, again, we have a nice cushion now with a 3-run lead. Let them know, Ronald. I mean, with 272 people in the building, we should easily be at 150, closer to 200 likes at this point. So if you are in the room, hit the like button. Do your boy a solid. It makes you kind of wonder with the volume that you have. Do you have people that are haters that don't want to do it, but they want to watch? Are they people that are spying, from other channels and whatnot? What is the main reason? There's always going to be undercover haters, that want to watch, but they want to support, but hopefully we get people that actually want to support, and we get people from all over the globe. So could it be people that, speak other languages that just don't understand? But I mean, if you're on YouTube, I think it's pretty standard likes, subs, views, donos. I don't think that's a foreign language, but again, we have been able to grow the audience quite a bit. Our monthly audience is over, 61,000 people on the daily, right? We've got our female viewership up from 5% to 15%. Every age grade group is acknowledged, 13 to 17 to 65 and up, and everything in between. And again, 70% and up is usually in the United States, but we have Dominican Republic, Venezuela, Mexico, Japan, Canada, Philippines, Taiwan, Puerto Rico, Nicaragua, New Zealand, Australia. So, I mean, I know in some of these countries, English may not be the first language and there might be subtitles, for certain individuals, but I highly find it doubtful that there's that many people in the room that don't know what a like button is. So hopefully we can get some people to show some love, because no one's going to work harder than me. Top of the 9th, 6-3 Mariner lead. Let's see who's up next here for the Tampa Bay Rays. Next up for the Rays in the 8-hole, 1 for 3 with 2 Ks, right fielder Jake Mangum. Batting second, unless they have someone come in and pinch hit, center fielder Tristan Peters. And batting third with a double and triple today, left fielder Chandler Simpson. And we're going to get, coming in, Matt Brash for Caleb Ferguson. First pitch from Brash to Mangum. Takes a strike swinging right down the middle. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. And that is another strike. No balls and 2 strikes from Brash to Mangum. (0-2 pitch, high and away with a slider, 84 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Brash to Mangum. We need 2 more subs to get to 21,400. We needed 18 to hit the goal. Is there 2 people out of 248 that can get us there? Let's get it, baby. And we're at 27 on the Dono train, 73 to go. 2 more subs to hit the sub goal. And then we're trying to get as many likes as we can before the stream ends. Trying to get as close to 150 to 200 as possible. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Brash to Mangum. 2-2 pitch. And Mangum in play, grounds out to the shortstop. JP throw to first, and that is 1 away. Nice job by JP. Next up is Christopher Morel. First pitch, take big swing and a miss, low and away. 0-1 count. (0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. I don't know if anyone swings more wildly than Morel in MLB. Maybe Julio at the beginning of a season. 0-2 count. 0-2 pitch. Low and away with the slider. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Brash to Morel. Top of the 9th, 6-3 Mariner lead with 1 out and nobody on. 1-2 pitch, and that is strike 3, looking high and inside, painting the corner. 2 away. All right, 1 more out, and we're going to have the sweep. 3 out of 4 against the Rangers, sweeping the White Sox, sweeping the Rays. Let's go. We got the day off tomorrow, and then we got a big road trip ahead of us. Next up is left fielder Chandler Simpson with a double and a triple today. 2 for 4, solid day. First pitch, fouled off, high and inside, 0-1 count. Brash on the mound, and Chandler Simpson in the box. (0-1 pitch, change up low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Brash to Simpson. Top of the 9th, 6-3 Seattle lead. Nobody on with 2 outs. 1-1 pitch, in play, grounds out to second, throw to first. And that is the game. Let's fucking go. Final score, Seattle Mariners 6, Tampa Bay Rays 3. Let's fucking go, baby. 9-1 homestand. Is that good? 7-game win streak. Is that good? 2 sweeps in a row. Is that good? And when the Mariners win, what do we do? You know what we do. We fucking dance, baby. Mariners win. Mariners win. Mariners win. Fuck yeah. Let's go. And we did it for this guy right here. Ichiro Suzuki getting his number retired at T-Mobile, announcing a statue being built in front of the stadium. It definitely made Ichiro proud this weekend. Hot, hot, hot. One of the hottest teams in baseball right now, the Seattle Mariners. Fuck yeah. Goldie, Jay Buhner, and Angie Mentique in the booth. Let's go, baby. Oh, nice. John with another $5. Appreciate you. Stacks, Racks with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Man, could you imagine? Hottest team in the AL. Right hands up. Let's go. Good job, Captain. I mean, hopefully one day, we'll be able to get, a majority of those people that are just looky-loos, to be able to at least hit the like button. I mean, if you don't want to chat and you don't want to share and you don't want to donate, you can at least hit the like button at the very least, but sometimes we can't even get that from certain people. So, but again, we're going to get enough that appreciate the hard work that's being put in, obviously, producing the show, with all of the photos and the commentary, doing the live play-by-play and the color, as well as managing the chat, and, going through all of the extras that are happening here. All you have to do is watch another, individual doing a baseball stream and realize that they don't do what we do here. It's facts. Yes, sir. Anything I can do photo-wise for Kevin, John, Joseph, and John, let me know. We're having a heat wave here in Oregon, so again, and we just broke the 21,400 number. Now we're at 21,401, so we hit 19 subs, so 1 over, so we're on to our next goal. So 99 to go to 21,500. Let's go. Shout out to all of the 19 new subs that we've acquired today. Shout out to all the 150 plus people that hit that like button. And for those other 100, 150 that didn't, well, hopefully one day you will. Again, this is not an easy job to do. And again, it really does mean a lot because it'll help us get more likes, more views, more subs, and ultimately more people that will recognize what we got cooking here for the NWSF and the Seattle Mariners. Big win. Let's just take a quick little look ahead onto the schedule so that way we know what we have on tap. Obviously, we have a 100-degree heat wave for like the next 3 days. So, I mean, I would rather work rather than not. I work on my birthday, on Thanksgiving, Christmas. I don't like not taking days off, but every once in a while I need to be able to have a day off to rest my voice and whatnot. So we got the day off tomorrow, and then we play the Orioles on the road at 3:35 Pacific on Tuesday, 3:35 Pacific on Wednesday, and then 10:05 on MLB Network on Thursday. And then after we go from the Orioles, no days off, and then we play the Mets on the road. Friday night, 4:10 on MLB Network Pacific. Saturday, 1:10 Pacific against the Mets, and then Sunday at 4:10 Pacific on ESPN for the Little League Classic. I'm looking forward to that. So, again, it won't be easy against the Orioles and the Mets, but I'm definitely up for the challenge, and hopefully we can get our road record up. But, again, we've been very, very hot as of late, and hopefully we can keep the win streak going. Man, how awesome would that be? Brewers and Mariners in the World Series would be electric. I mean, obviously Yankees and Dodger fans wouldn't like that, but, they went last year. They're not going to be able to go every year. Now, the Dodgers could make it, but I highly doubt the Yankees would be able to make it this year with no Juan Soto, and their pitching is not as good. And we have other teams that have been showing a little bit more, but you never know. Teams can get hot at the most unexpected times. No problem. Appreciate you. Have a good trip to Vietnam. And hopefully you have a good time with family and friends while you're gone. I'll hold it down while you're gone when you end up going to your trip very shortly. All right. Well, shout out to Kevin, John, Joseph, and John. I appreciate you guys very much. Shout out to Captain and All Day for helping out with obviously some of the mod duties. And again, another Mariner victory. It feels really, really good. Jerry, I appreciate you stepping in and trying to be able to get more people to participate, on the streams. It does mean a lot. And it's not just that Captain and All Day are the only ones that can do it. Anybody can, kind of holler at the other people in the chat to kind of get it going. And I do appreciate the effort that you're putting in, Jerry. It means a lot as well. Love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. Final score, Seattle Mariners 6, Tampa Bay Rays 3. We end up getting the sweep against the Rays and the White Sox and winning 3 out of 4 against the Rangers. We are hot, and hopefully we can continue to keep this win streak going. Love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very much. And I got one question for you. Who you know talks sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Pride it's up. Go Mariners, and I'm out. Go M's.